Hi, everybody. Welcome to tonight's episode of Infinite Horizon. This is season 3, episode 12.
Sure.
The
Yeah, okay.
I only know that
70th,
it's
the
episode 70.
70th episode of Infinite
70.
Horizon.
The fact checker on this.
That's that is all actually almost
It is
100.
actually almost 100.
Yeah.
We say that a lot, but like it is actually almost 100 episodes. Wow. That's so much.
Oh.
Look at us go.
Wow.
Look at us. Who would have thought?
It's episode number whatever you want it to be. Thanks, Remy.
Thank you.
Fact checker we don't pay for.
Yeah. The last 12th episode. This was not me. This was Geek Outs. Geek Outs said this, not me.
Perfect.
I'm gonna
Geek Outs beat
climb
us to
into
it.
Chat. No.
Numbers like time are in fact a weird soup. Ninja Penguin, thank you. Hi everybody. Welcome to tonight's episode.
We missed you.
We missed you. It has been a rough several weeks. Today is no exception. It's just
Wednesday.
It's just the slightly less rough of the weeks. But okay, bye Geek Outs. No. Yeah, welcome everyone. We have a show for you tonight. I don't know why that happened with my voice, but it sure did. Before we get into that, we have a few just sort of very brief announcements. I think I'm just gonna see what happens when I start talking. We have it's a pretty normal week of programming from here this week and next week, as far as I'm aware. Then again, none of the weeks have been particularly normal thus far. But yeah, so we have Ramblemancy this Friday as usual. We will be Freeman, I feel like we have a topic, and I remember telling myself I'm going to remember what the topic is.
Inspiration.
Thank you. Inspiration. We're talking about tabletop inspiration. We're talking about like where you get your inspiration, who and what inspires you and your creativity. So that's what we're going to be talking about. So yeah. When sad, pretend to be in space. Yes, absolutely, Cole. Thank you.
Why do you think we do this every week?
Yeah.
Honestly.
Most of our announcements lately have been Patreon related because we're going through so many changes on Patreon and we're just kind of trying a bunch of stuff. But we have finished our first Beyond the Roll. It is uploaded and will be coming out soon once we get some of like the last graphical assets done. So we'll be doing that very soon. And we are also in the process of setting up our next Beyond the Roll, getting ready to film that. So we will tell you more about that as we get closer to it. For now, just hang out and, have fun. Just enjoy all of our wacky shenanigans. There is still a Patreon survey that will help us basically figure out what we could be doing better with our Patreon, what you like about it, what you think, you would like to see there. So whether or not you are a member of our Patreon, it's worth it and helpful for us if you fill it out. And it is, you can find it on our Discord in the suggestion box. It's pinned in the suggestion box channel. So you can find it there. All of the feedback is very helpful to us and in terms of helping us bring you content that you would like to see. And thank you very much to those who have already filled it out. And yeah, so fill out the Patreon survey. In conclusion, I think that's pretty much all I've got. I don't know that there's a whole lot of new stuff happening that requires announcements or reminders. So if y'all have stuff that you would like to talk about, feel free. This is your moment.
Sundays, power play, queue times, 5 p.m. Pacific. I think we're back with full cast next week, which is very exciting. I missed everybody. I think that might be all I've found. Oh, I've got coffee tiers stuff now where I'm releasing exclusive art content, and I forgot February was short, so February stuff is going up after the show tonight. So check that out. But yeah, sketchbooks and fun notes and just like stream of consciousness bullshit from me. You'll get every month because why not? So
Excellent.
Ooh.
For me, I'm going to be over on Bard and Barbarian on Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, I think. We're going to be playing part 2 of our Call of Cthulhu 5. I think it's going to be 4-part now, actually. 4-part series. We're going to be raising money for Jasper's game day. Last we left off, a dead body fell out of a portal. So that's cool. We're going to have to try and figure out what that's about. But yeah, it's a lot. It's based on Lock and Key, though, visual novel and TV Netflix series. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, come check us out and also donate to a good cause.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, a couple last minute things. First of all, Geekouts, thank you so much for the gift subs. And that's very kind of you. And also, another Patreon announcement. This month, we mentioned before that we were starting to do our sort of, we were adding a like a town hall style meeting for our $10 tier patrons, and where we'll be sort of talking a little bit about like what the roadmap is for Rule of Lore at the moment, what we're looking at doing, some of the stuff that we're working on that we can talk about, and sort of sharing some like behind the scenes insights and stuff like that. And you can come and ask us questions. And if you can't be there, we will be recording those and releasing them on Patreon, so you'll be able to see them afterwards. So if you want to be part of that, there is already a poll for patrons of that tier up for the date. And if you want to get in on that, now is the time, because now is when you can vote on the day. And if you want to be part of it, you can make sure that it will happen on a day that you are available to do it. So this would be the time. Otherwise,
I think the poll closes Saturday the 5th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, the poll closes this coming Saturday. So you've got a few days. And yeah, we have to give it a hard closing day so that we can like schedule everything and have it all set up. So yeah, if you want to be part of that, if you want to participate in that, now is probably the best time to get on that. So yeah, you can find the links to our Patreon, probably in chat in a few seconds, or scrolling up to even.
Before we go in, I did just want to geek out. Said follow Caitlin on TikTok for choice content. I do need to acknowledge the last video I posted was about MILFs. So like, I don't know if that's the choice content you're talking about, but
I need to see this.
It is a choice of content.
I took a break from TikTok
So
for
in that
one
way,
day, and I
it is
missed
a
the
choice.
MILF
That is
TikTok.
true.
Damn it.
But thank you for saying
I
so.
almo-
I don't know
no.
if that's a correct statement, but
I
thank you
almost-
for saying so.
I almost watched it earlier and then I got distracted, and so thank you for reminding me that I need to do that.
I trust TikTok to show me your stuff whenever I go on.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else. So, and if I do, I will remember it at a wildly inappropriate time. So, without any further ado, let's get into tonight's episode of Infinite Horizon. And we're back. Hello. Okay. I should have had this prepared ahead of time, but there we go. There's so many tabs. Anyway, it drives me nuts. Previously on Infinite Horizon, the crew returned to the usurpers and met with Miris, their leader, to arrange the syndicate's side of the bargain. Miris began organizing her people, but needed some time to pull together resources and a battle plan, leaving the crew to their own devices. After some brief deliberations, they decided to scout out Sulon to give their allies the best shot at helping them retake it. The crew watched as space and time folded around them and found themselves once more in the room where they first met Wire. And that is our very short recap, and it is where we left off. And off to a great start, everybody.
It was the first
Did
time.
everybody else see that or only?
No, everybody saw that. That was
Everyone saw it.
Good.
Everyone
good.
saw that.
Good.
And Freeman showing up just a little too late for the transition. All right. So, where we left off, y'all had found yourselves in the lower level, kind of the abandoned and hidden basement of the apartment complex where you first met Wire and where the first sort of like the founding of the resistance sort of took place. Almost, or maybe a year ago in world time. I think it's something like that.
I think so.
Mm-hmm. We're at least very close, I think, to that, if it has not already passed. As you looked around, found any sort of useful stuff that was left over from the hurried exit last time you were here, you made your way all back up onto the street level, back into the hollowed out asteroid city of Sulon, now under corporate control. So that is where we pick up as y'all exit out onto the street into the back alleys of the city. What would you like to do?
So what do you want to do first? For Recon, obviously, the best thing to do is find entries and exit points, but do you want to figure out what's exactly happening on the inside first?
Okay, man, I think you're mute.
Scrolling very quickly through my abilities. I forgot what I can do. It's been so long.
Yeah, or should we go underground now, or?
I'd say, just in case we get caught, it might be best to go immediately for objective, which is most likely good entries and exit points for when we bring more people in.
Can I, see if I can sense any consciousnesses around? Like, does anyone feeling anything nearby?
Oh, there are plenty of people around you. Like, you're in a city now.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's not, vacant. I remember something about it was, it seemed quiet.
No,
So
I mean, no, I think I might have said the opposite of that, the usual buzz was there. Like, things
Oh, I see.
sounded relatively the same when you can step out.
Yeah, I have, it's quiet topside, but weirdly normal. Okay, I see.
Yeah. Like, quiet as in,
Simply-
in the immediate
simply.
area,
Yeah.
because you're in the back alleys, so there's,
Got it,
not,
got it. I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Disregard. People around.
Yeah, there's lots of people around. You can feel numerous presences around, feeling a variety of emotions, but yeah.
Okay. There's not, a general, Is there, a baseline of, concern, anxiety, or does it just feel like I'm in a crowd normally?
Just, yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. When you're in a situation where there's that many emotional presences, finding a baseline is difficult. It seems like, from what you can pick up, it doesn't seem like things have changed too terribly much for the average person on a day-to-day sort of thing. Yeah, there might be some vague undertones of concern, but they're very, very, they're deeply buried.
Yeah, Taeon, I think our main priorities are finding more about their movements and their defense capabilities.
Yeah, okay. I think we should make a... I guess first we should see if what it looks like being manned now. People, we should look for if there's any just random guards walking around that seem to be part of the corporation. And then after that, probably go to the edge of Sulon and see how their defenses are. Does that sound good?
Yeah, if anybody sees a guard, maybe I can take a look, see if he knows anything.
Okay.
I'm gonna go invisible.
Okay.
Just
Sounds
as
good.
like, just I don't know. Maybe it'll be useful. I'm gonna go
Sure.
invisible.
Are we out in the open
How
right
many of us
now,
are there
or-
again? It's us three, or us
And
four,
Us and
Vix,
Vix and Solar.
and Solar. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll
Sorry.
move up ahead.
Hold on. Freeman, what was your question?
are we in an open area right now?
You're sort of in the back alleys right now. Like,
We're in the back alleys. All right.
yeah.
Okay. I'm going to really quick. It doesn't take me very much time. I'm going to spend some of my intellect,
Mhm.
and Mason's form shifts, his face shifts and kind of like contorts a little bit. It's like elongates and then shortens again and does all this stuff, and is gonna just look like a completely different dude.
Oh, holy shit.
Hell yeah.
Well, I'll be damned. Okay. Could you always do that? Am I just forgetting?
Nice face.
Oh, thank you.
Disembodied voice.
Thank you. It just never came up. I thought I'd give it a try. I mean, we've been here a lot and we've been in a lot of hot water here. I thought, usually I am looked with a lot of suspicion because that's just my character. So I thought I'd give myself an edge and just kind of look like, just
guy.
like the local shopkeeper or like a janitor.
Just a dude. Just a guy.
Vic shrugs and says, I have to figure that out.
Yeah, let me know when you do, because I'm still figuring it out too.
He goes, you'll never know. And then Vix takes his cue from Bina and also goes invisible.
Yeah, we're buddies.
Perfect.
And really want to hide your face, huh? Don't blame you.
There's like you can hear his voice like inches from your ear, Peach. Like you'll never know I was here.
And then Bina's on the other side going, ooh.
Okay, we probably should get going.
Before we go, does anybody want some, like, pew,
Pew?
pew?
What?
I don't
I've
know
never
what
had
that
to
means.
describe it before, so I don't really know.
Hmm.
Ooh, some extra juice.
Extra juice?
Bina, I'll take whatever juice you want to give me.
Yeah, I'll
gonna turn
take
to-
it as well.
I'll
I
turn
guess.
I like the idea that Bina is making hand motions but is
Oh, yeah.
invisible.
Totally visible.
Yeah,
We can't
nobody can see it.
No, completely visible. Yeah. I was like, I could just say the ability, but I was like, I don't think I've ever had Bina try to explain what this is before.
The funniest part of this, hold on. This is a thing that just now occurred to me. I think, like, while nobody can see Bina, I think Peach, Vix, and Silar can, like, see, like, a vague heat impression
Outline?
of
Yeah.
Bina.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
probably.
Because, like, yeah, like not full-on predator vision or anything like
No,
that.
no,
It's not
no.
like it works like it does. That's not how it works. But it's just like they because Anzalonians can see a little bit into the infrared spectrum. So like seeing
It's like,
like
this hazy outline.
yeah, like
I love that.
like this is a weird example. Like if anybody used in like Elder Scrolls Oblivion the like detect life spell, it's a little bit like that where there's just sort of like this sort of I don't know, this sort of
Yeah.
like wispy kind of hazy outline of a person.
Yes, they see Bina gesturing with all four hands, trying to like describe what she's trying to describe, and then Peach says, like, "So you, she's gonna give you stimulate. So your next action that you have to roll and will be reduced by 3 steps."
Awesome.
Excellent.
Thank you.
I'm assuming only one person can have that at a time.
Probably.
I mean-
What I thought too, but
I don't know.
Why?
Unless it specifically says that, I think you can just keep doing it as long as you have the like.
Your words encourage a target you touch who can understand you. Reduce the difficulty of the next action by 3 steps. That's all it says.
Yeah. No, I mean I think you could just keep doing it as long as you have the pool for it.
That's true. Tan also said he wanted one, so I'm gonna give you one too.
Just a little.
Boop. Yeah. Mhm. It's
Like
the same
wiggle
thing.
the snout.
It's the I think I've described it with Mason before, where it's like things kind of just become like like the clarity becomes like hyper high def, and then you kind of get used to it, and so there's kind of just this little boost in the back of your head.
Okay, well, I can't change my face or turn invisible, but I am a chemoth, and that's usually okay, just kind of be walking around. So I'll go up ahead a little bit further, just to keep a separation between us,
Yep.
but close enough for you to still see me.
Yeah.
And
All the
I'll
while,
just use that.
yeah, and all the while like y'all were talking, like Solar was like busy like braiding her hair in like into like a very like, like practical sort of braid, and like you all did mention, so I'm assuming that those of you who want to make use of them can, like you did mention something about getting like sort of like maintenance jumpsuits,
Oh,
things like
yes.
that, like
Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
yeah.
that was like something that you did mention that last time, so I sort of assumed that you did that. I think Solar would have also done that, and yeah, basically like
Yeah.
now has a very like Rosie the Riveter kind of vibe going, like
Cute.
Peach has her hair in like kind of like a long ponytail, and you've never seen her hair like that before, and it looks whack.
Yeah.
it's like
This looks casual. What?
This looks wrong. I don't know. There's just something off about this. Like,
You're like, why does she look sporty? Like it's like not right at all.
all right.
I will also mention that Mason's clothing also shifted
Ooh.
with the ability as well.
Ooh.
Oh,
Hell
okay.
yeah. Okay. Excellent. All right.
Maybe for this immediate area, should we go and stagger our movements, go two at a time? What's the least likely to draw attention?
Probably
Honestly, I
one or
think
two at a time.
yeah, stagger movements 2 at a time is probably the best call.
Vix just sort of you can hear his voice. He just says, I can shadow someone. Any of the groups.
You just want to split
Yeah.
two and two on the visibles, and then they'll each take an invisible tail.
Sure.
Sounds good.
All right. Who's going with who?
I'll go with Bina and Vix. You definitely go with the other group. I'm ready.
I go Bina.
I go Bina. No,
Vix,
I'm
get
really
the
good
fuck
with
away from me.
guns.
Mason, maybe I should go with you.
Name's Chance.
Chance, maybe I should go with you.
Yeah.
Solar nods and looks at you,
Sounds
Taeon, and
good.
just gives you like a little, yeah. Which like perfect cover. A maintenance worker with a chemoth walking down the street.
Yeah.
Like that's perfect cover. Okay, so you all kind of stagger your exits. Probably I could even see like going to separate blocks and like coming out onto
Yeah.
the street from different like areas of egress. You step out into the street, into sort of like the more bustling part of the city, kind of towards the center of it. Looking around, Sulon looks very much the same as when you left it. Really, the only differences that you can note are there are some like what look like corporate security hovercraft that you can see occasionally dotting the air traffic, and from time to time as you walk through the streets, you do see the occasional patrol of corporate security, but their presence, whether intentionally or otherwise, seems to be pretty sparse. And even the ones, it's not a particularly oppressive presence. Like, they definitely are there. They're present, but they're not like, there's nothing overbearing about their presence. Probably a very strategic move on the part of the corporations. But you can see, like, in some places, as you're passing markets, you can see some of the corporate security, like, trading for fruits and things like that, and then sort of biting into them as they continue on their patrols. And, like, they feel like almost like a fixture now. Like, they feel like part of the bustle of Sulon. Like, it's very clear to Bina that it's not, their presence is not lost on anyone, but they also do not seem to represent a threat to anyone in any kind of clear and obvious way.
They've established themselves as, we're here. If you don't fuck with us, we're not gonna fuck with you, kind of thing. Is that kind of the
Pretty
vibe I'm
much,
getting?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long? When was Sulon taken, like, in timeline?
I would say
How
it's
long ago?
probably it's probably pretty close to a month ago at this
Okay.
point. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's time. That's enough time to
Mm-hmm.
got your shit sorted out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Every
yeah,
once in a
enough
while,
time.
as you like pass some of those patrols, you can get a sense from like one person here or there of like an extreme like anxiety as they're passing, just sort of like the anxiety spike as they pass by. But like in general, the patrols don't seem to be paying any mind to anyone. Like they are, for all intents and purposes, an occupying force, but they're not really presenting
Aggro.
themselves that way.
Yeah. What am I getting from like if I focus specifically on the patrols we pass?
Um, Mostly
Anything
just kind of
noteworthy?
like a
They
lot of
bored?
them you said, yeah, kinda,
Okay,
like some of them
cool.
are like sort of bored, some of them like you can sense that they're like, some of them are like more alert than others, but like
Seems reasonable.
some of them are a little anxious in some places, but like
Okay.
that seems like an anxiety due to like they like probably due to some sort of self-awareness of like
Oh, yeah.
we know what we are, we know what's happening here, we are an occupying force, this is dangerous for us because like who knows what's gonna happen,
Exactly.
you know.
Okay. Cool.
um
Okay, so that all checks out then. That makes sense.
yeah.
I want to also get a read on every patrol we pass. I want to dip into their minds, everyone.
Yeah,
Every
I mean
single
it's
person.
I mean I don't know what specifically you're looking for, but like there's not like you're not getting anything
Just
other than
guys.
just like pretty much the same vibe. I mean, like it's just like people and their thoughts. I don't know. I don't like it's not there's nothing particularly interesting. Um
There's no like specific kind of like anxieties or that would be more than just like, oh, I'm going about my business, like any kind of like
Not like in a general sense, but like the odd individual here and there who is like maybe a little jumpier, like at
Mhm.
a certain attention, will just be like, what's that guy looking at? And then just sort of like a brief sweep over, and then just like, no weapons, and like, and that's like the whole, like, yeah,
Hmm.
Okay.
These guys are like grunts. These are ground level pawns. Like I don't
Yeah.
think probably not gonna have like
Yeah.
any like real
Mm-hmm.
insider.
Yeah.
They're just guys.
pretty much.
The hovercrafts or like the vehicles that I know I can tell that are corporate. Um, do I know anything of their models? Do they seem like anything that could be messed with through hacking? Or would that have to be purely mechanical if we did want to mess with any of them? Like, can I gauge what those are?
I think that would be a roll. Let's go ahead and have that on like an intellect task. The difficulty on this would be 4.
Okay. I'll use a level of effort to make it a free level of effort to
Do
take it
have
down
a
to.
-3 to a roll right now.
Oh, oh, yeah, I can't even save that, so I might as well just use that. Yeah, I'll use a
Pretty sure
free
it's
level
just
of
your next
effort.
roll. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
to make it so free level effort to make it 3, then the simulate down to 0. But I'm
Yeah,
gonna roll anyway
Okay.
because I like being dangerous. 4. I rolled a 4.
Dangerously.
So terrible, but enough.
Yeah, you taking a look at them, what you can tell is that these appear to be they're basically like troop carrier type things, but they are the thing about these is that they are automated.
Okay.
They're like, yeah, they're which means that they're with a model like this, they'd have some sort of like control hub somewhere nearby, like on Sulon somewhere. Like it wouldn't work to have it like on one of the ships outside of Sulon. It would have to be something like near close by, installed in the city. So like the patrol craft do appear to be sort of automated in some way like that. So yeah.
Okay. Could I like snap a quick photo or picture of it? Just so I can later on, definitely not now, just in case messages are being tracked in and out of Sulon, but later on,
Yeah.
when we meet up with Ada, I can show them the model and maybe they have something.
Yeah,
ready.
absolutely. Yeah, easy enough to do.
Yeah.
One of the things that you'll notice is that, like, looking at the logos of corporate security and on the transport, these are definitely Silverbreak. These are Silverbreak security. You can see the logo of like the ship tracing a path across the surface of a planet, and sort of you can that's sort of everywhere. You aren't noticing any insignias other than Silverbreak insignias here.
Okay. Is that okay? So I guess there's a thing I haven't actually. I don't know if I've access or even really it's ever been brought up. There are other corporations other than Silverbreak in general, right?
Yeah.
And there are some that are those buildings and stuff still like intact and existing in Sulon, if there ever were any.
They never had headquarters in Sulon.
Okay.
They never had headquarters in Sulon. They like the closest that they'd have is maybe some like offices, but they'd be more like local offices rather than any kind of like headquarters type situation.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Sulon's kind of like way out of the way, isn't it? Like this
Yeah,
hasn't
Sulon
really
is-
been prime corp real estate at this point.
Although that
Okay.
said, Sulon is very close to corporate space, but even so, Sulon has maintained their independence ever since their founding.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all my questions then. I'll probably be I'll keep I think getting all of that, I think I'll keep heading for like the guess the boundaries, like the very edge of where people usually come in out of Sulon, and just to see what's going on there. Because I guess they're probably
Sure.
controlling who's coming in and out.
Yeah, as you you kind of make your way, so that's where your group is going. What about the other group? That's Mason and Peach, right? Mason, Peach, and Vix.
I believe so.
Yeah. So like while Taeon and Bina and Silar are heading towards the kind of like the entry, where are you headed?
Would there be an area where we would know there would be kind of more like more I don't want to I don't know. Is there an area that would be more corporate, have more corporate presence so we could
Most likely, if they are occupying, they'd probably be somewhere in like kind of that like central area that where there are like the various like spheres that sort of hang suspended in sort of the center of Sulon. Because if you remember, the city of Sulon is like the whole thing is inside of a hollowed out asteroid, and like the city is built along the surface of the interior hollowed out space, which means it is sort of like a very like three-dimensional like sort of city. If you look up, you see city, but looking across that gap, you would also see where there are like spheres and like that can like hanging suspended in the middle of that, where there are all kinds of additional buildings and surfaces as well, and like the skywalks that kind of go in between the city and those things, and those sort of central areas are where a lot of the governmental buildings are. Probably, more than likely, that's where you're gonna find like more like a corporate presence that goes beyond the sort of like odd patrol of grunts. More than likely that's where it would be. That said, the trade-off then, like, there's more information to be had there, but the trade-off being that there's also probably a lot more, like, a lot less relaxed than out in the general populace.
Yeah.
There's going to be more security, probably.
What are you thinking about today, Chance? What's on your mind?
Well,
As we're
I'd
kind of
like
like walking, like just nondescriptly through the market.
Mason Chance is looking around. Looking around. I don't know. Hopefully, we don't get into too much trouble. But I mean, certainly some information could be gathered here. I just don't know how. Perhaps we can get close enough to some important. Close enough, maybe not too close to some important folks. Maybe you can maybe read their mind. I really don't know.
If we could lure a higher, I mean, these grunts didn't know anything, but if we could lure a more important official kind of out, I'm sure I could get some useful information out of them, but it would just have to be, we'd have to do it quickly. We wouldn't want alarms to be raised. How are packages delivered to this place?
There's like, there's an automated system, like a sort of, God, what are those things called? Like at banks, like the drive-throughs at banks where they have like the sort of like suction tube kind of thing. So there's
Oh,
that where
good.
like
Okay.
mail is delivered, but like packages, specifically like larger items and things like that, are delivered like much the way that they are today. They're delivered via like delivery driver.
Freighters.
Yeah, some of them are automated. Some services are automated, and some services are there are people, but yeah.
I was trying to think of a way that we could get in without that. That seems like a good, easy way to
Sure.
get in.
That's fair. I will also point out that y'all are like tier 6 Cypher characters who have various ways of getting places. So
That's true too. I'm just like, wouldn't it be cute though if you're dressed as mailmen?
Or like
That's
pizza
true.
delivery.
It is canon that pizza exists in this universe, so like
That is true, yeah.
That's right.
that's
Sorry, that's just such an unhinged idea of us just walking into the high-ranking governmental establishment with a pizza, being like, "Hey, not suspicious."
Let's not do that, please.
No.
Oh, oh gosh, that's killing me right now. I can't even. I mean, can you like?
Let's
do
head over
we
that
have, like,
way,
a-
and I'm gonna see if there's a way that I can kind of make myself less obvious here.
sure. So the nice thing is that at least in these in on the skywalks leading to the kind of governmental center of Sulon, they're not just like passages. Like they are they are, but they're large. They have buildings in them also. Like these skywalks are used not for air travel because that's unnecessary in Sulon, but they are used for like foot travel from like the general city towards kind of the center. And in there's everything from residential districts in some of the skywalks to like business districts and like trade centers. Like there's a whole one of them that's dedicated entirely to like industry. So like there's lots of ways in. It's not like, so you could get relatively close just via like just as a pedestrian. You could
Okay.
get relatively close. So how are you attempting to approach? Like, are you just sort of walking? Are you trying to find a disguise first and then going, or?
Yeah, what are the type of people that we see going kind of into these areas? Like, what do they look
Sure.
like, and how are they
A lot of them seem to be
dressed?
people who live or work in the skywalks,
Mhm.
like in the skywalk districts. Some of them are some of them look like, there's not a whole lot of people actually who are going kind of the pedestrian route, generally speaking, because there's usually faster ways of getting to basically anywhere. So like the people that you see going in and out tend to be the people who are going to like the closest areas in the like skywalk districts. And then every so often the odd person who is just sort of like wanting to stretch their legs, and go for like a walk. But for the most part, it's just regular people. But as you kind of approach the skywalks, you do notice that there are sort of elevated levels of patrols here. Not necessarily in numbers, but more in terms of frequency. And you will note that there are that you note at least 3 of those like power armored corporate security.
Cool.
As a like and now in contrast to the patrols sort of in throughout the city, they do appear to sort of spark a little bit of anxiety from the crowd around them in a way that the regular patrols do not. And you can see the regular people sort of giving them a wide berth. as they pass by them. But for the most part, they do not appear to be posturing or attempting to be intimidating. For the most part, they ignore the people around them. But you can see that you can see those helmeted heads turning, sort of scanning the crowd.
I think we blend in the best we can.
Yeah, I agree.
You can hear Vix's voice somewhere nearby in between the two of you. He says, "If they spot me, this will be a dead giveaway of who we are."
Mm-hmm. So, don't let them do that.
Yeah, that means I'm gonna have to, become visible. You can't see me, but I pointed to myself. I need to become visible again somewhere.
Bathroom.
Yeah.
Classic.
I'll go too. I want to change into something that fits with this a little bit better.
Yeah, y'all pull away. And just because this is a thing that I would like to do, let's have it be a roll, because you did just sort of happen upon these power armored folks.
Yeah, sure.
And now you're trying to get away inconspicuously. The nice thing about this situation is that as long as Vix is visible, he's more or less inconspicuous to these power armored people. But if he's invisible and spotted by them, that's a dead giveaway. So let's go ahead and have this would be a speed task, the difficulty of which will be 4.
Okay.
It's a stealth or whatever else you think might be.
This is Peach's first roll since Stimulate,
gotta
so you're
drop 3,
stimulated.
yeah.
That's true. Yeah,
Oh,
you are
awesome.
stimulated.
Does my training in deception help at all, or is
Yeah,
that
sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
I mean, like,
Cool.
because the thing about stealth is it's not just about remaining unseen, but it's about remaining unnoticed. And that means physicality, body language,
Nice.
all that kind
And
of
that's
stuff.
down to 0.
Perfect.
Remind me again how the edge works again.
The edge eats from the cost of anything you
Alright,
spend
cool.
for the roll.
Sweet. So actually, my edge takes most of that right away.
All right, you're
I'll
spending
spend-
effort, right?
And I'll spend yeah, exactly. Yeah. And also, does my dex power shift work for this maybe? I know it works for
Don't think so.
initiative and okay, just wondering.
Yeah,
Because
I
it's
mean-
speed related, so I just thought I'd check.
Right. Yeah. I don't think it
Movement,
does.
acrobatics, initiative, and speed defense.
Right. So this is not exactly that. Okay, and I'll bring it down. I'll bring it down to 1.
Okay. Sounds good.
I have a question. Did the power armored people
Oh, nice.
when we used our abilities on them, did they seem to have resistance to our abilities in those power armor suits? Like I can't
Some
remember
of
if Peach's
the-
abilities
Some
worked
of
on
the
them or not.
abilities, but like mostly they had countermeasures, not like resistances. Like you could use your abilities with the same effectiveness, but they had countermeasures for a lot of them. So like less preventive stuff and more like dealing with the like effects of your abilities.
And how many of them are there in this area that we're in?
I mean, like they're not all together. Like you just sort of see like from where you were observing, you could see 3 of them, but they were not together. They were just sort of like in, yeah.
Okay.
And they're not like stationary. Like these, you saw 3 of them while you were watching, but they were just sort of like moving sort of around. So
Okay.
yeah. I take it y'all made your rolls, yes? Because you
I
made
got a
your-
19.
Okay.
Oh, I
that's-
knocked it down to 0, so I
Right.
didn't have to roll because of
Right.
and-
So you got a minor effect, Freeman. So you can, if you have an idea of something that you would like as a minor effect, or
I
anybody
don't
else could
actually.
suggest stuff too. Actually, crowdsource it.
Oh, what would be a good minor effect?
Yeah.
Vector.
Okay, minor effect. Remind me, what's that like described as?
Um.
I know what I'm damage, but that's not. This is
Right. Like
Maybe like it can help Vix disappear too,
Yeah. I mean, like you can do sort of like a
or reappear, I guess.
right, like a situation where like. Yeah, I suppose you can kind of affect Vix's ability to sort of move into the crowd, like accidentally bumping into somebody that Vix would have run into and invisibly and caused a scene, that kind of thing. Like,
Mhm.
Kind of
Yeah.
become like the visible proxy for
right, yeah.
for him.
I like that. I
Okay,
like that.
cool. So
Yeah, let's do that.
Make sure he gets there safely too.
yeah.
Mhm.
So the three of you managed to kind of like make your way out of the like sort of bustling crowds here toward at the entrance of this particular skywalk district. You step into a building, just sort of like a corner cafe kind of place. And sort of stepping inside, you Vix sort of pulls away from all of you, kind of making his way towards a kind of like a back room, and returns fully visible like about a minute later. Yeah, with nobody seemingly paying any attention to this situation, but yeah.
So I kind of like where are we? Is there nobody else in here right now? Can we talk?
There's like a few people in here, but it's like, yeah, it's not like full to bursting. Actually, most of the people who are in here seem like they are standing in line, like,
yeah.
picture like a situation where it's like basically like a coffee shop where everybody's sort of like standing in line on their way to work to get like coffee or something like that. So like there's not a whole lot of people who are like sitting down in here. So the majority of the people who are in here are like in line. But in general, there's probably not more than like maybe 10 people total in the whole place. So
Okay. We need to get further into this complex. We can't just be on the fringes like this.
Yeah, I think we should go a little further in.
I think Vix state. I guess I shouldn't say anybody's names. So we go in, don't raise any suspicion, and I'm gonna keep everyone we come into contact with, who starts to look suspicious, away from us.
sounds like a plan. I think if we can get close enough towards the center, we'll start to see a little bit more of what's going on in there.
That sounds good to me.
If we see someone who is really, really important looking, we should try to draw them out, get some intel.
Right.
Okay.
And worst comes to worst, I'll you can see like he cups his hands, and just like very, very faintly, like there's sort of like a glow kind of in between his hands, and then he immediately, as soon as he knows that each of you has seen it, he sort of squashes it. He says, I'll just flashbang the crowd and we'll take off.
I like it.
Like the way
Very-
you think.
Very handy.
You can thank Bina for that one.
All right.
All right.
And I will say, Peach probably also changed into like a business casual attire
Fair enough.
for
Yeah.
this infiltration. And
I
also
imagine,
asked
like,
Mason
I
if
am-
he wants it.
I imagine Peach probably brought like some sort of bag or something like that like.
Oh no, she can just make clothes.
Oh, that's right. You
She can
just
make
do
them.
that.
I mean,
That
because
is true.
I can create items that don't have complex moving parts.
Sure, that's
So-
fair. That's fair. Yeah,
This is so curious. Okay. Yep.
that's a good
So
point.
just like Peach just like goes into the bathroom stall and like comes out in a totally different outfit, but she doesn't have a bag.
Yeah, amazing.
Nice.
Vix just sort of like squints at this and just like, so like, if those go away, I mean, because they go away eventually. So like, are you just like in public naked then? Like what? How does this work?
Are dreams real, Vix?
I hate having these conversations with you. Let's go.
Oh,
Sometimes they certainly feel real. Mason mumbles.
Edgy boy that he is, we will, on Mason's line, we will shift away to Taeon and Bina and Silar. As you are approaching the what's known as the docks district of Sulon, where that sort of large shaft that leads to the exterior of the asteroid, by which some of the smaller cargo vessels make their way in and out of the city. Um, you find, for the first time since arriving on Sulon, a very noticeable corporate presence, in that there, like, the areas around, like, the more sensitive parts of the docks district, like the control towers and like that sort of stuff, are fully cordoned off. Like, there are barricades, like corporate patrolled barricades.
Ooh, okay.
So it seems like Taeon's instinct was correct. They absolutely took control of the comings and goings of like anyone from the city. Also notably, in here, you also see logos other than Silverbreak. Still largely Silverbreak, but upon observation for like a short period of time, it does seem like High Prime. High Prime has their sort of main, like, it seems like Silverbreak and High Prime have equal control of the docks.
Does it look like? Is it like a clear split, or is it like they're all intermingled?
Um, they do appear to be there. There's a clear split. Like, they do. It's not like there's like the High Prime area and the Silverbreak area, but
Yeah.
you do see that they are like very clearly like. But this looks less like an intent, like by design, and more like just sort of that they're sort of sticking to their own sort of thing.
Okay. Interesting.
Mare, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, welcome, everybody.
I'm okay.
Yeah, so you can tell that there are very clearly, here at the docks, there are very clearly is like, this is the first place where you've seen a divide in the corporate security presence. In fact, the first time that you've seen any corporate security outside of Silver Breaks.
Do we see the armored
power
specialty power armor guys here
Yes.
too? Okay, so if that's the case, then Bina will probably slip behind find an alleyway and like a dumpster and just like, well, first she would like tug on Taeyeon's
Yeah.
sleeve and just be like, I'll be right back, and then she'll go down an alleyway, visible, and she's gonna do the thing because she thinks it's clever, is where she tucks in her bottom two arms
Yeah.
into like an oversized thing. So I am simply a two-armed Orzai. I am not the
Right.
four-armed Orzai you surely are looking for. And then she's gonna put her goggles on, and we'll kind of like hop, skip, and
Yeah.
jump back out to her friends.
While Bina was doing that, Taeyeon, you and Solar sort of standing, just sort of, observing while like pretending to be like checking some like meters and gauges and things like that.
Yeah.
As you're doing that, she's sort of glancing around. She's sort of like pointing out. She says, there's some new cameras installed over there. You can tell because they don't quite have the same grime on them. And over
I had a
there,
feeling.
no, see those metal surfaces near the gates of the barricade.
Yeah.
Those are automated turrets.
Okay. Seems like they're not holding back anything. Do you see anything else? The main thing I'm looking out for is anything that might emit some kind of radioactive energy waves. They seem to be ready with that on the ships the last time they came to the original resistance base, and that interferes with my teleportation.
She sort of says, "Give me 1 second. I want to try something." And she like kneels down in front of the meter, but like making a good show of like examining it, but then just sort of like removes one of the gloves from her like her suit and puts her hand to the surface of the like kind of like the deck plates of the city, and just sort of like you can almost, Taeyeon, even through your boots, you can almost feel like a soft vibrating pulse emanating from her hand that seems to be sort of running through the deck plates. And after a moment, she stands back up and just sort of flexes her fingers and puts the glove back on and just says, "Okay, so I don't know about any radioactive specific, but I know that there is a pretty powerful generator of some sort in there. It doesn't feel like anything else that's in there."
If there is some kind of radioactive source or emitter, that's probably what's powering it.
Possibly.
If not, probably the turrets, which would make sense as well. It's
say at this
pretty
point, Bino would
tight.
probably have like rejoined the group.
Is this where I left Sulon to go
Hmm.
mess with the ship? It would have been this place.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
pops back
so
up.
there's a lot of security measures, turrets. Obviously, you saw the power armor people. They've got some new cameras hitting any blind spots that the old ones originally had. Seems to be a pretty powerful generator in there, and I like gesture to where you noticed it. That's likely either powering the turrets, which probably is the one thing we see is visible, or if they do have the radioactive emitter they use to suppress my teleportation, it could be powering that as well.
Are the turrets new? Were those here
Nope.
before, or did?
No,
okay,
no,
I didn't think
they're
so.
they're
but...
set up. They're set up around the barricade, basically.
Okay.
So like, yeah, they seem to be very recently installed.
What do you know about High Prime?
What do I remember about High Prime?
High Prime, they're High Prime Terraforming is like the full
That's
name
it,
of the
yeah.
conglomerate, but it is they, like Silverbreak, are one of the mega corporations that have control of just about, they have their fingers in just about every major
Everything,
industry.
yeah.
That just happens to be the industry that started them off, like they're
Yeah.
the parent company, specializing in all kinds of like terraforming equipment, that
And they're
and
coming up with like other like tiny versions of it, like
yeah.
High Prime photography, like just like they've got
Yeah.
other little like,
And, like,
things, but they're big ones.
Yeah, even to this day, High Prime, generally speaking, has the monopoly on any kind of like terraforming contracts. So like they're the like basically like any kind of like anyone who is like doing any kind of licensing for anyone doing any kind of anything even remotely related to terraforming,
Yeah.
it goes through High Prime. Like they probably are owned by High Prime.
We dealt with
You
High
have,
Prime,
but
was
not
that a
in a s-
colony.
Yeah, there was a High
That's what-
Prime
okay.
colony. Yeah, there, I believe you rescued Zaya and Becker
Okay.
from there once. But you also much more recently have dealt with an agent of High Prime who was attempting to capture Dr. Amrin and
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh gosh, I believe the mercenary known as Mirage was
Yeah.
Oh,
was
yeah.
working for High Prime.
I remember Mirage.
Hmm.
Is it normal for Silverbreak and High Prime to be working together on this?
Since
Have we-
all of their takeover, like the corp takeover, aren't they kind of like in cahoots a little bit?
Was that okay? Maybe it's just me, Drac, misremembering this, but was the strike Silverbreak specific or was it corporates?
It
The
was
corporations.
corporate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just me misremembering. Okay.
Yeah.
And this kind of makes
I mean,
sense.
Silverbrick
Okay.
is the one we deal with the most, and theoretically, they're the ones who have been the biggest thorn in our side.
And
this
specifically,
entire time.
Silverbreak was responsible for the creation of powered individuals. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So like they've got a lot going on. That's like less than.
And Damian Ellis,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
all the
exactly.
big bad stuff.
They had
Yeah.
a lot of stuff going on, and I'm guessing
Also-
it became like a truce thing.
Yeah. Also, notably enough, like this is like it's not surprising that Silverbreak is here because like you already knew that Tamsin Trethaway, Tamsin Trethaway, was like the one here who's kind of in charge of Sulon right now.
That's who I want to find.
Yeah. So like you knew that Trethaway was here, which suggests like that's a Silverbreak thing. High Prime's
Yeah.
presence here, it's not super surprising considering that the corps seem to be working together in this whole endeavor. That said, one of the largest corporate rivalries historically has been between Silverbreak and High Prime.
I think how I've kind of understood it is like powerful people keep powerful people powerful, kind of like, and they're all just
Mhm.
they're
Yeah.
all on the same page, and they all are kind of going towards the same thing, even if we've been historically butting up against one. They're all the enemy essentially.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's flattering. Apparently, we were able to unite the originally the corporate rivals. But yeah, this is most likely the same way. It looks probably the same in any other exit and entrance that we have into Sulon.
The generator is a good lead though. That could be an
Yeah.
easy distraction. If we
Yeah, I just need to be look in there, and I could probably get us in there. But again, that depends on whether or not they actually have the radioactive emitters that would suppress my
Mhm.
teleportation.
I can always.
Oh, sorry.
I could probably get there.
Do you think it will suppress yours? I mean, I suppose you technically only recently figured out how to teleport. They
That's
probably
true.
don't have time to
I
prepare
don't
for
think
that.
my light powers had any issues when we were in the.
You were using them internally in
In-
the ship,
yeah,
but you,
internally.
I
In the
don't think
ship,
you
yeah.
used it to leave.
Yeah.
So
I could still
Um,
use it internally as well, but I couldn't use it
That's
to
right,
leave
that's
the
right.
ship. Yeah.
yeah.
So I mean.
I would say, Bina, there's an insight to be had here if you
Yes.
wish to. Yeah.
Yes, I would like to. Is that
So-
does Edge eat it?
I don't. I think so.
Okay.
I guess. I know I see here's the thing. In the past when we've talked about insight, I've like not known exactly how it worked, but since then I have looked it up and still don't
we
fucking
forget that.
remember.
It's a thing.
Right,
It's one of those things you just continue to look up and continue to forget what the right answer is.
Yeah,
I
always.
understand.
I know there's a difference between one that the GM offers and then one
One
that
that
the
we ask
player
for.
asks for.
Yeah.
But I don't ever remember which one is which. But
We'll
the
figure
point
it out
Yeah.
someday.
So, excuse me. The insight here, Bina, is considering the space that you're in. The only reason that seemingly, like you haven't had a chance to look at them yourself, so you don't know exactly how they work. But the kind of radiation required to block Tan's teleportation and things like that would be pretty harmful if it were just sort of out and about. The reason that it was able to work on a ship is because they were able to basically flood the bulkheads with the radiation, and the bulkheads, which sort of like prevented a fair amount of like the radiation seepage into like occupied areas of the ship.
That makes sense.
In a place like this, it would be really, really hard to do that on
Okay.
Sulon. It would be super difficult to do that.
Yeah.
Especially
Okay.
in a localized area like there's this barricade. It would either be like the entirety of Sulon, which obviously they didn't do because you wouldn't have been able to get here, or it would have to be like not at all.
Yes. Okay.
So there's really not at least as far as you know from what you have encountered so far,
Mhm.
there's not a good way for them to have done that.
Okay. Well, I mean, just because it's a residential district, public business, people are here. It's hard to do that like that. So unless they have some really specific devices that I don't know about, and which is not unheard of, they do that a lot.
Yeah.
But theoretically, they might not. They probably shouldn't be able to do that without putting kind of literally everyone at risk. So, hopefully, not an issue.
Okay. Well, in that case, if you think you can get up there,
Maybe a
probably
not
probably
now.
shouldn't. Yeah, probably shouldn't sabotage anything now.
Just
But
for good to know option.
yeah.
Option. And we know that we're not gonna be able to get in and out. We kind of have to figure out what our move is gonna be. But I think this is just to figure out what we're dealing with, and then when we get back, we plan more extensively.
Yeah, I think. Let's see if we can find any building or room that's close by to this and empty. I can just take a look at it and I can get us
Have it.
there. Yeah, we can use that as a point of egress. Don't know if I use that word right. That's Jack speaking. It could be the point where we just lead the charge and enter from. And if we're able to deal with everyone by the boundaries and borders immediately, then it'll make everyone else you might need to come in a lot easier.
Is it some sort of warehouse, or is it just like a building? Like what direct, like, have we seen where the generator is, or do we just kind of know there is one?
You just know there is one. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That was what I was trying to figure out.
Yeah. Also, let's see. Caitlin and Drac, pick a number between 1 and 10.
Each of us pick one?
Yeah.
2.
What'd you say, Drac?
7.
Okay, cool. So, Drac, I would like to offer you a GM intrusion.
Oh,
because the number I chose was 7. So good job.
Oh. Well, both of us always say
Lucky
yes, so
number.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it. I'll take the gym intrusion.
All right,
we
cool.
always say yes.
I know. I wasn't sure who I was going to offer it to first.
Gamifying the game.
Yeah. So, no, ordinarily I would roll dice for this kind of thing, but I don't have them
This
in
is
front of me
fun.
because this is Cypher and I
You
don't
roll
need
dice.
them.
Yeah.
So, okay. So go ahead and take a point of XP and give the other to whoever you like.
Yeah, I'm gonna give the other one to Kaylin.
Okay, cool. As you're there, Silar suddenly like her head sort of whips around towards like the corner of the building, and just as she does that, she like just opens her mouth to speak when you watch as like a couple of patrol like a group of about 6 come around the corner. One of them says, "Hey, stop right there," and he like just kind of like walks over, not in any kind of like urgent sort of way. He just sort of stop right there, and he like walks over and he says, what are you doing over here?" And he kind of like look like you can see even like under the helmet. I'm picturing like, I don't know what, this is my brain. Like I always picture the corporate security in like Starship Troopers, right? Like that kind of.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So like you can see under the helmet. It's not like a fully like, we're not talking stormtroopers here. We're talking like you can see their faces. And you can see like this individual is Keldro. So you can see kind of like the marbling like face pattern, like sort of like the stripes and striations that sort of go sort of down the center of his face and sort of out towards the edges, around the like along the cheekbones.
What systems were we next to? Like the console we were looking at?
It was some sort of like meter or gauge. Just at a quick glance, Bina just like probably didn't note it before, but like now at a quick glance, you can tell that what it is like some sort of like power sort of like system for like, it's basically like where the power gets like transferred into the building, kind of like that kind of thing.
We're in training with maintenance, and we're just trying to familiarize ourselves with all of the power outlets. And I'm going to use telling.
Okay. And how does this work again?
It just gives me an asset to persuade or deceive.
Great. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Go ahead and give me a roll. This is going to be obviously like an intellect task, deception roll, difficulty of, we're going to say there's some, because this is an area of heightened security.
Yes.
We're going to say the difficulty of this one is going to be 5.
Okay. So telling drops it.
Mm-hmm.
And since I have an asset, I immediately get another asset. Social interactions, pleasant or otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Hard to tell whether this is kind of in the gray area between pleasant and otherwise. Like we're sort of in the gray
Exactly.
area there.
God for
Right
the
there.
and.
It's the and.
This is
And
an
then-
and interaction.
This is an and, yeah. And then my edge eats the last one.
Okay,
I'm gonna
cool.
roll anyways.
Great.
This whole time, Taron like looked up at this garden and back at the console and just is like taking it up, like pulling it apart as if they're about to get into the guts of it.
Yeah. And like the thing is, even though Taeon himself is not the most techie, like as a chemoth, you
chemoth.
always have like some
Yeah.
tools on you. Like they're always there. So
And there are preconceived notions in the world about what
Yeah.
you're doing. That's a 9, by the way.
okay, cool. So yeah, the guard looks at you and just says, "We weren't informed of any training exercises taking place around here.
Well, the
Who's your
exercises-
supervisor?"
Do I know anyone, any like maintenance people from Sulon?
Nope.
I didn't think so. Give me 1 second. Can't think of any like local names. I don't know why I'm blanking so bad. Mr. Sivan.
Yes, Sivan. You can see as he like on like the sort of like the eyepiece of like the helmet, you can see as like kind of from behind, you can see like the glow of like text scrolling on the inside of the eyepiece, as like very clearly he is like taking down notes on the eyepiece.
Okay.
This is
I think that's how you say. I turned to my friend. I was like, is that how you say his name? I don't remember.
Silar just sort of nods.
Okay.
She's keeping
Yeah, nods as
silent
well,
and just
but-
nods.
Yeah, good.
And
You're trying to be like, she said it wrong, like plausible this time.
Yeah.
That's kind of what she's throwing out there.
Right.
and the guard goes, okay.
It's not really an exercise. We're more just trying to get familiar if we're gonna be working and stuff. We didn't mean to cause any problems. We can obviously go if...
I understand. It's probably better if if you can take your training exercise somewhere else. Right now, this is a pretty highly secured area, and we are under orders to detain anyone who is caught violating them. So,
Good to know. We'll let the rest of the crew know, I guess, because we weren't informed.
he nods. He says, "Listen, I get it. I understand. This is all pretty new. We're just setting up the barricades. All the new. One of the reasons I'm letting you know and letting you off, because this is all pretty new, and I'm not entirely sure that we've given you enough, given the local populace enough time to circulate the word. So,
Thank you. We'll leave it alone. And sorry.
But understand that if we catch you around here again, we're gonna have to follow our orders and detain you."
That makes perfect sense. Thank you very much.
He nods and just sort of takes sort of one last kind of look at all of you, very obviously and clearly committing your faces to memory, and then turns back around and leads the patrol away.
Okay, well, we have friends now.
Friends is the right word for that. Yeah, let's
So we start walking out of the area.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I want to get a good visual lay of what they've got going on here, because he said it's new, that the barricade is new. So I want to try to just what's here visually. I just want to try to remember it basically as we walk out. Just get a good look.
Yeah, you kind of do a scan, kind of noting important details, any sort of structural issues with the barricades. The barricade also, I realized I didn't actually describe it. So the barricade itself, it's not so much we have in real life, those sort of metal, sort of beam kind of bar type things. We're talking full on these are the sorts of deployable wall type things where they brought them in, settled them down, and basically have sort of using gravity technology, using them to sort of secure them in place, and then they just sort of expand from there, interlocking sections of wall that essentially basically wall off some of the streets leading to the control towers, essentially. So and in some of them there are gateways. And around those gateways is where Szilard noted the turrets and the added security cameras and things like that.
And can I see the rooftops of these watchtowers and stuff? Can I see? Do they peek over the walls?
I think you're too far out to see the control towers from here, but you can see the rooftops of the buildings on the other side of the barricade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So while walking past, I'm probably I'm definitely taking a look across the rooftops, just looking at the rooftops, just as a possible other point where we can teleport into if you want to get behind those barricades quick. And also into any buildings I can as well, just in case that end up being a better place as well.
Absolutely.
Basically, just looking for all of the place I can use as a save spot.
Yeah.
Is this where it's the docks? Is this where ships would come in and...
Yeah, I mean, it's...
dock, that kind of docks, or is this just an entrance point?
It's both.
For smaller...
It's both. So if you recall, when you first arrived at Sulon, you used kind of the more industrial docks.
Yeah. That's why I was asking, because I was this was different.
This is not the industrial docks. This is more this is not where the big... although that's not far away. This is not where the big cargo ships and stuff like that dock or things like that. This is more like where you'll find transport ships and smaller personal craft and traders, things like that. This is where they kind of come and go from these docks. So this is more the public shuttle bays and things like that.
So then do they leave their is this where ships would stop stay here? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And how much is there a lot, or is it empty except for
there's
corporate ships?
Not a lot of outgoing traffic. There is some incoming traffic.
Okay.
There and any outgoing traffic that you do see appears to be corporate. It looks like, from what you can tell, and from what you know of sort of general intel that you had already on the situation at Sulon, there is a sizable blockade out, like around
Other
Sulon.
side.
So like any ships that are coming in are probably like have gone through whatever rigorous sort of security measures the blockade has. Any that are going out are going to have to go through them on the way out too. So like security here is mostly geared towards like just sort of like the more like out there they can't check individual people, right? In here is where they have. So you do see that a place where there is sort of like a security checkpoint from the docks that is separate, sort of also separated from the security checkpoints, like not security, the barricades that are blocking off the control towers. So like the control towers are even separated from the docks, and the docks are separated from the rest of the
Yes.
populace. So
Let's
they're
get
sort
a
of
lock
sectioned
system
off.
going
Yeah.
on here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there, from our knowledge, is there any other way people would come in and out of Ceylon? Is this the only docks, or is there others?
It's the only
scattered
public
around?
way. It is the only.
Okay.
Yeah. There's sort of this large, basically a big hole in the asteroid.
The asteroid, yeah.
That yeah. And also, I say control towers. I should clarify that control tower is just sort of what they're called, but really what they are is sort of like observation and control
We've
control
seen
platforms.
those,
Yeah,
yeah.
sort of built into the
definitely
side
have
of the shaft.
Yeah.
So like
Okay.
they're kind of like
It's like a tunnel. They're like
Yes.
they're windows in the tunnel.
Basically,
like,
yeah.
Going through.
Okay.
yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
I
cool,
remember
cool.
that. I remember that.
So I think that's honestly a good amount of information we got from just that. Probably be easier to if I can teleport as many people as you can on the inner parts of Sulon, where there's less security and
Yeah.
just more buildings and places for us to at least stay in.
Showing back up at Wire's old place is
Yeah,
probably
that'd be
pretty.
At this
good.
point, Solar sort of looks up. She goes, "Look," and as you look up in the direction she's pointing, you can see kind of towards the entrance of the like the kind of the entry shaft to Sulon. You see as a like sizable group of patrol ships enter through the shaft and then immediately sort of split off and sort of take around the city. At the exact same moment, or nearly the exact same moment, about an equal amount of patrol ships arrive and exit through the shaft.
Oh, okay.
oh,
I'll make note of the current time.
Mhm.
That's interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
That also reminds me, the corporate hover crafts I've been seeing around, a lot of them are automated, the ones that you use to transport troops around. It means that the hub is most likely on Sulon. It'd be kind of hard for them to have it on a ship outside of it. So if we can find that and also aim for that as one of our first targets when we do hit Sulon, that should be able to, at the very least, slow down the deployment of opposition.
I feel like this is going to become a sabotage mission again. We're pretty good.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Silar frowns and just says, "It's hard to imagine, given what we've seen so far, that it's not going to at some point come down to a hand-to-hand in the streets."
For sure. Yeah.
She says,
Yeah.
I think our best bet is to probably get as much disorganization as possible so we have a little bit of an upper hand because we know what's going on and they won't, but we're going to need a little bit of planning for that.
"Yeah."
Get us off on one leg up at least.
We should also probably plan on a way to controlling where, or at least most of the conflict happens. There's a lot of civilians around, and I do not want any of them in the crossfire.
Wonder
Not
if
entirely
there's a
sure
way-
how we can round them up, though.
I was gonna say if there's a way Ada could write some sort of something that will only go to personal devices, like letting them know to shelter in place or something like that. That could be an option.
That might be hard to. I can ask Ada. I'm not going to assume what
I don't
she
know
she
how.
can
Yeah, I
and
don't
can't
know,
do.
but
Yes.
it's something we could at least see if that's worthwhile.
Yeah, it might be a bit difficult to differentiate between civilians' personal devices and the security's personal devices, because I'm sure they have their personal devices on them as well.
I mean, I would maybe Silverbreak might have their own devices. Like they might just have
Yeah,
corporate allotted work phones. Like, but I don't know. We'd have to see. I don't know enough about
Yeah.
that, but it's something think about it, we can at least get
Yeah.
try to get a word out like just before things go down to try to let people know we're here to help, but you need to hide.
Yeah. Okay. I think next thing we should do is maybe look for this hub that they use to control the hovercrafts,
Yeah.
and just locate that.
The hovercrafts are always in the air. Are any of them grounded?
You haven't seen them ground ever, except like once or twice you've seen them kind of swoop down, pick up or drop off a patrol.
Okay.
But you haven't seen anywhere that they might like have grounded, or where they might keep them.
The outside, on the outer shell of the.
I mean, that is possible.
I think at this point I'm going to cut back to the others, as Peach, Mason, and Vix have managed to make their way. Like you've all managed to make your way into the skywalk. At one point, it's with relative ease. Like there's no checkpoints here, at least not this close to like the city. Looking further up the skywalk, you can see where there might what looks like it could be security checkpoints, but much further up ahead. There is sort of one sort of like heart-stopping moment as you're passing by one of like the power armored individuals who like turns their head towards you and just lingers on you on your group for a long time. But then they sort of like follow you as you traverse, and then like their head sort of tracks you as you traverse, and then like after like way too long of this happening, they kind of turn back and continue their patrol, kind of going the opposite direction that you were going.
Oh man, it's like being followed by a police car for a few blocks. It's awful.
Yes, exactly. It's the exact it's that
That's what
feeling. It is like
That's
you're
what it
being
was.
like just sort of clocking you as you go by, and like lingering on you for way too long, and then sort of like it's exactly that same.
Fucking power move.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How many my idea is that I want to try to figure out where the big corporate offices would be, because my idea is I want us to figure out where Trethaway and like any of those high-ranking officials would be for when we do stage an attack. So finding like the government building, or like the
Sure.
you know, like a headquarters. I mean, not just like we're gonna stumble into the headquarters, but I just kind of want to get a lay on these buildings up here.
You have been there before. In fact, you even stayed in some of their like in some of their accommodations.
It's the same place.
Yes. Yeah.
Shit. Okay, I didn't think about that.
Okay.
Yeah. So like you
I've
do.
been thinking about that the whole time.
Yeah, you do know a little bit about like the layouts of those buildings, and like not the whole complex, but like you do know a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The security detail up ahead, how many of them are there?
At the checkpoint, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So as you arrive at the checkpoint, or like near the checkpoint, you are greeted with a scene very similar to what Taeon and Bina have, like, and Solar just observed, which is basically those sort of like the barricades that are sort of put in place, with the exception that in this case, because there's sort of a more finite area to cover, it's just sort of the wall that seems to take up a good chunk of the skywalk, like floor to ceiling type thing, and then sort of like a large gate in the like dead center of it, where there's a security checkpoint. Looks to be like two layered from what you can see. So there's like this side, and then there's like the inside. Vix also notes the automated turrets that seem to have been installed in the floors, as well as security cameras installed on the outside of the.
I was just gonna ask.
Yep, same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you are sort of scanning this, you watch as a group of three patrol people sort of like step out of the of the security checkpoint, and like the leader of them sort of turns, a human turns and talks to one of the guards who's standing on the outside running the security checkpoint, and then he kind of like you can see as he sort of casually scans the crowd, and you watch as he's sort of scanning, and as his head turns in your direction, he makes eye contact with you, Peach,
Mm-hmm.
and in that moment there is a spark of recognition, because you recognize, in not in in a Silverbreak uniform, but
Mm-hmm.
you recognize Axel Galt. You can see, like, even still, you can still see, like, just sort of on along his neck, this sort of like uh blackened veins that seem to have not healed from when he like was attacked on the when you went looking for the artifact and first encountered uh, Figment, but you recognize Axel Galt, who was until recently working as chief of security for a local eccentric explorer and collector.
Oh my god! So
And
now he's a sellsword for these
you
corps.
can see as he makes eye contact with you, he recognizes you immediately, and his cold gray gaze just sort of catches yours, and he has like the very barest twitch of a smirk as he sees
How far
you.
away is he?
He's probably like maybe 50 feet or so, but you note that he just kind of like, as he like looks, he gives you a quick wink and then just keeps sort of scanning the crowd. He doesn't react immediately. Then he goes,
What are his thoughts? What is wait, what does he think when he sees me? Is it just like curses? Like what
no,
does he
when he
think?
sees you, you get basically a like, it's like, well, isn't that interesting? And then just nothing, like full on nothing.
Fuck yeah,
Like,
this is incredible.
he just turns, like continues scanning the crowd, like sort of nodding absently to the person who he's talking to, and then goes like turns back to them, says a few words to them, and then just sort of glances around and just says, "All right, let's move out." Sort of a little louder, sort of where you can hear it, to like the two that were following him, and they proceed on down the street, kind of in the direction that you had been coming from. And I think that is where we're going to take our break.
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah.
Oh my god.
Hell
Okay.
yeah.
I'm
On the Axel Galt reveal.
All
Oh
right.
my god!
I love this guy. He's so intense.
All right,
He was
everybody.
Like, he was like kind of like a bastard to work with, wasn't he? He was fun.
Yeah.
I liked
Yeah.
it.
Kind of a rival.
Yeah, not a good person.
yeah. Oh no.
All right.
I'm gonna
So,
open the page.
Let's harness his evil for good, guys.
all right, everybody, we're gonna take our break. We'll be back in a few minutes. Move your body, get some water, walk around, whatever you got to do. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody. We have returned. It looks from Caitlin's background like she's not here, and like somehow the cameras are not working, but I promise Caitlin is here. I just realized that, like, yeah, it's funny, Caitlin, because without you there, it looks like the camera, it looks like it does when we have a player missing because of your background.
Because of the
So-
background. He's gone.
Anyway, yeah, welcome back, everybody. When we left off, the crew was doing some recon on the corporate occupied Sulon and getting some pretty good information, such as the fact that their former associate, Axel Galt, is working apparently for Silverbreak and their security. So, where we left off, y'all, Peach and Mason and Vix watched Galt just sort of like walk off into the crowd with his two security lackeys, and you all sort of like leaving you standing there near the security checkpoint. What would you like to do?
Interesting.
Always finds himself involved with something.
Yeah, where there's money, especially. This would be the place for it.
He didn't seem like he was gonna rat us out.
Doesn't mean he's not going to use this information to his advantage, though.
Oh, he definitely will.
What do you think? What's the play?
Think we should follow. Think we should follow him?
Do you think he has any information? Like, do you think he's our way? I don't know.
I mean, we did save his life that one time.
He owes us, maybe. It's worth a shot.
I don't know, Mason. You're the one equipped at following leads. What's your take?
Well, this one fell in our lap, so when a lead falls in your lap, you pick it up and you follow it. Detective class 101.
That was very wise.
When a lead falls in your lap, you pick it up and then you wipe yourself down with a paper towel, and then you get some hand sanitizing wipes and a little bit of baking soda.
Turns out the lead is hand sanitizer wipes. No.
Well, he's going back in the way that we came, right? So it could be really helpful to have a conversation with him.
Is he in power armor or just
No, not power
regular?
armor. He's
Okay.
just
In neither of his companions were in power armor.
Nope, just him. I mean, none of them were none of them were in power armor.
In fact, were they all like basically in his kind of getup? Were they all basically just hired
They
guns?
are wearing Silverbreak security uniforms, but they are not wearing like the patrol like the armor. They're not wearing like the vests or anything like that. They are just in the uniforms.
Interesting.
Those with him who do have any kind of armor on them, it does not appear to be the same kind of like regulation armor that the Silverbreak patrols have.
Yeah, Peach kind of eyes like the security checkpoint back, like that where we're kind of near. We have kind of an idea of the security, two-tiered approach that they have, and I mean, I can probably get a bunch of us past it next time we want to go in, or if we still want to go in there. But I think we should follow Gold. I mean, he seems like a guy who could give us some information.
I agree.
I feel like Peach talks super quietly because she knows Mason can hear like super quiet tones, and then Vix has to kind of like lean super close to hear it. That's how I'm imagining this.
I've adapted to hear whispers.
All right, so you are following Gald. Is that what I'm understanding? Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
I want to follow him until we can kind of, if I want to follow him to a point where maybe we can, when there's not quite as many people around. That's kind of my thought.
Oh my gosh, Stella Luna, thank you so much for the raid. Hello and welcome, everybody.
Hello.
Hey, Stella.
We're in the middle of a tense reconnaissance sequence. You step out into the street, kind of like into the crowd, sort of following Galt and his two followers. You see them sort of stopping periodically, like once or twice, like stopping at a stall, talking to somebody, and then moving on. At one point, they like go into a storefront, and sort of watching them from outside, you see that they are like sort of having a conversation with like seemingly the owner of the establishment, and then they come back out. For the most part, they appear to be keeping towards pretty populous areas until you exit the skywalk. Once you exit the skywalk, they take an immediate turn towards some of the back alleys, and start heading in that direction. Do you follow them in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of giving them a fair lead. You just so that, to obfuscate.
Do we need to roll or anything to stay hidden?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and give me a roll? This will be
I don't know why I asked to penalize myself, but I'm like, I can't imagine. I feel like I have
I was
to.
probably going to make you do this anyway, but this will be a
Excuse me.
speed task, the
Okay.
difficulty of which will be 6.
Okay. All right. Same as before, plus a little more effort. I'll spend a little more effort.
Deception.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh,
let's
nice.
see.
Actually, I'm gonna double check to see if I have any skills for this. I don't think so.
Wow, I
Yeah,
can't
I'm
believe
trying to see if I
Freeman
have
made a
anything
character who
else.
doesn't have any stealth skills.
Not a single. Well, can I assess danger to calculate how best to be not in a?
Sure. Yeah, I think that's
kind
a
of
fair part of stealth, I think, and moving on, staying unseen, noting where it will be impossible to stay unseen. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I guess dexterity power shift doesn't help
No,
with this.
unfortunately, it
Darn.
doesn't.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I asked last time too,
Mhm.
just in case. I think. Okay, let's see. I brought it down to. Sorry, math.
Yeah.
1.
Okay. Down from a 6 down to a 1.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so you need a 3 or better right now.
I'm still at 5 right now. I'm trying to.
I just spent effort. I'm
Well, I'm gonna have to spend some effort.
I just went with effort all the way here.
Is it like dark right now, or is it what time of day is it?
It's the same time of day it always is on Sulon.
Oh,
Like,
right.
The
Right,
light
right.
sequence kind of
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I
yeah.
rolled a 4.
Oh, okay. So by the skin of your teeth. Excellent. All right.
I was trying to see if I could figure out a way to use Dreamcraft to help me kind of like
Mm.
pass unnoticed, like, like kind of make. I'm trying to think of what would help me stay unnoticed here while
Right.
sneaking. I mean, I don't think I can use Dreamcraft to just like make myself like not visible. That's not really how the ability works. So
No, I don't think you can.
I mean,
No.
I could make like a dog with me to make it like more like I'm just walking around, like a more blending in, as opposed to like stealthing, but like
Oh my
like
God.
I'm just like walking a dog and it's
Yeah.
like I'm
Yeah,
taking
dog's
it in,
canon.
like I'm taking it into the alley with the key kind of thing.
Yeah, you do the what you call it, the Divinity 2 stealth, where you just like illusion a box around you and you just, or like a bush around you and you just walk.
Yeah, I think that would. I don't know about that one. Is never mind.
Yeah, that's the real thing in Divinity 2. Yeah.
Using my vast intellect, would a dog help in this situation? Appearing at
Because it's funny, yes, I'm gonna say yes.
Okay, I'm gonna say a golden retriever.
Excellent.
Dog.
Perfect.
Peach is
I
walking.
love this.
And you know what? Like, oh, I guess you don't have that anymore. I was gonna say with like the sporty hair, like it's like, you're just like suburban
Running
mom
with your dog,
vibes,
yeah.
like.
Yeah, no, now I'm business casual. Now
Right.
I'm like, oh, taking the dog out on a lunch break kind of thing. So great. So that's down to 4 then. Wait, does my specialization in Dreamcraft?
No.
Is that okay?
Nope. Not at
All
all.
Okay. So down to 4. So I'm gonna spend some effort.
Okay.
So I'm gonna spend 2 levels of effort.
Okay. So down to a 2.
Yeah.
Okay. So you need a 6 or better.
Okay. Okay, 6 or better. I rolled a 3.
Oh no.
I'm gonna spend an XP to reroll that.
Okay.
My fake dog can't be hurt. 17.
Okay, cool. Vix just like as you like leave the more heavily secured areas, Vix just turns himself invisible again. And
Good.
yeah,
Smart boy.
as you follow into the back alleys, you kind of following their path, you find Galt and his cronies just sort of like sitting on some like crates in this back alley. Like they have their weapons out, but they're not like readied or pointed anywhere. They're just sort of like standing. Galt is just sort of like half sitting, half leaning on a crate, with like his combat knife out, just sort of like peeling a fruit with it, sort of sitting there. And as you approach, they do not appear to have like. As you approach stealthily, they do not appear to notice you.
Does it look like they're guarding something, or are they just like?
It looks like they're just
pausing in the
kind of just
alley?
loitering, is what it looks like.
Oh, good.
Yeah, they're just kind of loitering. But they do not seem to notice you as you approach.
Okay. All right.
Peach, you with your like slight ability to see into the infrared spectrum, you see as Vix just like moves immediately towards one of the guards and stands right behind them and just like stands there. Yeah.
I'm gonna kind of mouth to him. Okay, on 3. Mason, you want to get that other guard?
Can't you just put them to sleep?
Yeah, I guess I can. Peach was like, Peach wanted Mason and Vix to do like a double team knockout just for like the fun of it, but
I'll do
it's
that.
fun.
Okay.
Yeah, Peach like kind of motions to like communicate that to you.
Okay.
Okay.
That would be cool if it. Yeah. Okay. Sounds
All right.
good.
So Freeman.
I'm gonna talk to Galt by himself.
Yeah.
That's kind of the goal.
So Freeman,
That's what I'm going with too. Yeah.
You're Go ahead and I'm gonna have you make a. This is gonna be a might task actually. The difficulty of which is going to be 3. However, it is adjusted 1 step down because they do not know that you're there. So it's a difficulty 2 right now.
And I basically. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I was just saying. Oh.
I want to basically just keep a read on Galt and like I basically want to be ready if he's gonna start like attacking anyone to kind of like hold still basically.
Yeah, he's still just like casually like they're just chatting away, like they're just kind of shooting the shit. He's like peeling the fruit and just like taking the knife, cutting a piece off of it and using it to sort of like take a bite and just keeps doing that. Yeah, they're just kind of shooting the shit in the back alley. All right, Freeman, what do you got?
You said it's a 2, so I'm just gonna spend at a level of effort.
Okay.
And I'm gonna
down to a 1. So you need a
down
3
to
or
1.
better right now.
Yep. I don't mind. Actually, no. I'll do 2.
Okay. All right. Down to a 0. Are you gonna roll anyway?
And I'm gonna roll anyway. Cool. And by the way, I'm using the butt of my gun.
Perfect.
Pistol whip.
Yeah, just like sort of.
15.
Okay, great. So you sort of sneak up behind one of the guards, and basically the way this plays out is you just walk up behind him and just take the butt of your pistol, just like with a solid crack on the back of the skull. He just crumples, and as the other one goes for a weapon, you just all of a sudden Vix is just there, just like standing, and there is the barrel of a very large rifle pointed right in the guy's face, and Vix goes, maybe rethink that. And the guard just sort of like drops the weapon, just steps away. Vix is like, we're gonna go take a short walk. He's like, come on. And he just like nudges the guard, who like looks over at Galt, who's sort of stopped with like a piece of fruit halfway to his mouth as he like watches these events. Hasn't moved, but just sort of frozen with a piece of fruit on the knife, just sort of like looking.
I'm gonna walk at this point. I'm gonna kind of like walk out so that he can see me and say, "Sorry to catch you on your lunch break, but we need to talk for a second."
Thought you might come and find me. And he like finishes eating the fruit. Wipes the knife off on his like pant leg, sheaths it, and like just sort of tosses the fruit over his shoulder. Says, "It's all right. Go with him." The other guy nods, and Vix just like leads the guy away, and like they get like 10 steps away before Vix just takes the butt of the rifle and just whook, and just like smashes him in the back of the head, and he goes down too. Says, "Was that really necessary?" And Vix said, "No," and doesn't say another word. So, long time.
You're looking spry.
I've had better days, but I've heard worse ones too. He like gestures to like jerks a thumb at the like now what appears to be permanently blackened veins in like sort of his neck and throat.
Yeah, how's that treating you? No side effects?
Stiff every once in a while, makes it difficult to sleep sometimes, but was no great shakes at that anyway. So
Nothing up here?
no more than what was there before. So, how can I help you?
It's a great question.
Yeah. What's your angle here? What are you doing?
Seemed like the safest bet.
Yeah.
Besides, the crew of the Bellerophon, well, they didn't really want me around. So anyway, I was expecting you to show up at some point. So is the director.
The director.
Mm.
You too close?
Wouldn't say so, but she pays the bills. She'd like a word with you.
Great. I'd love a word with her.
Well then, guess we can go now if you want. If the rest of your little band are around, they can come too.
So like, is he being sus? Or is he just up front like, yeah, I
As
can
a
take you to
rule,
this person?
As a
like,
rule, yes.
I mean,
Uh,
he's suspicious in every way. Like,
but like,
in the sense of like, is this a trap now?
you can try to gauge that if you would like.
I would love to.
Sure.
I would love to.
All right, yeah. This is intellect task. The difficulty of this is going to be 5, actually. Yeah.
Okay, so trained at discerning and discerning
Yeah.
falsehoods
Mm-hmm. It's down
and
to a 4.
such.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I would say maybe would my perception work? I'm like looking at his eye movements and his face
Yeah,
to see if there's
sure.
twitches.
So down to a 3.
This is not really. Am I investigating? Am I investigating him? Kind of. I'm just asking because that's a
Maybe.
skill I have.
You know what? I'll say yes in this instance, because I mean, like, investigation isn't like D&D investigation. This is more like investigation in this case is much more like your training as a detective, basically. So
Mhm.
like, I would say yeah.
And I'm also skilled at that, so bringing it down to a 1
Okay.
total, right?
So you're specialized in investigation.
Specialized.
Great.
That's
So
what
yeah,
I meant.
so you have a difficulty of 1, so you need a 3 or better right now.
All right, here we
This
go.
is like the thing that Mason does.
Yes.
come on,
7.
Mason.
Huh? 7?
7.
Great. Yeah, I mean, as a rule, this guy's pretty suspicious, but like, he is sincere in what he is saying about like that he has clearly been expecting you. In fact, from what you can like now that you think about it, looking at this like sort of setup, they weren't just loitering; they were waiting. And probably even came here to this sort of out of the way spot on purpose. And so yeah, like
Man.
seems like he's sincere. When he's the thing that really I think is the part that you're concerned about. If I'm guessing is the part about what he means when he says that Trethaway would like a word with you.
Yeah.
And from what you can tell, he means exactly that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I respond. I just kind of with a knowing smile, I say, "Well, you picked a good spot to meet us."
He just sort of smirks and says, "We can go right now if you like. They'll sleep it off." And kind of like nods to the two unconscious guards.
What are the terms that she laid out?
No terms. Says, just said that if you ever showed your faces here, she'd like a word.
Okay.
Although, between you and me, I think she's in a bit over her head.
Imagine that.
She's a practical one. Scares the shit out of even me. Not somebody who would, well, look, she's somebody who would make use of any asset that she could find. Including assets who don't consider themselves assets.
So she's troubled as of late, anxious,
Seems like
having
it.
issues.
If you ask me, I think she's scared.
Well, then she's especially dangerous.
That said, we can't exactly go through the front door. So, if I make bringing you in too public, she'll have no choice but to, well, do what's expected of her. I've got a way in, but you're gonna have to trust me about it.
Trust you.
Way I see it, I owe you my life. This is just me getting square. Don't like to be in anyone's debt.
I believe that. Well, I guess the question is, do we want to bring the whole group in, or do we want to handle this right now? Shouldn't be a problem either way. I'm just wondering.
I mean, I don't know if this can wait.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
The more I'm gonna kind of pull Mason and aside at this.
Yeah. As like Galt goes to like push off from the crate, Vix just plants a palm in his chest and pushes him back to. He's like, no, you stay here.
Me too.
Ugh, love you, bro. Yeah, sorry. I was distracted by that hilarious thing instead. Mason, I think we should tell them where we're going, but the more people that go in, the more people that are at risk.
No, it makes sense. Because if we get stuck somehow, at least half the group and our abilities are elsewhere, and they can still do things from their end, or maybe even bail us out if the worst came to the worst, which you never know. But definitely let them know. And Mason at that is going to kind of just go up to his little wrist terminal and for the first time in maybe months.
It's like hundreds of messages.
Scroll past all the unread messages to the end, and then
shit.
I wanna turn back to Galt.
Mm-hmm.
So this is all about the money that Silver Break's paying. You defected for the credits, right?
Sure, they're a nice bonus, but in times like these, well, it was the smart play.
Smart. You've seen Trethway, and she's scared. Any idea what she's scared of?
Not sure. She sometimes has calls with someone from corporate. At least I assume that's who it is. Definitely someone seems like they're in charge. But, and every time she finishes those calls, I can tell she's a bit stressed. Seems like they're trying to pressure her for something that she's not doing here on Sulon. Something that she doesn't seem to want to do. Or at the very least, I can't imagine that someone with her resources and intelligence wouldn't have found a way to do it by now.
Oh.
I think she's stalling.
I think she is too. Is there anything else you could tell us about what's going on with Silver Break? Anything that you've seen that might be helpful?
Nothing comes to mind. Nothing that you might be interested in. They don't tell me much. I'm not exactly in a position of power. The only reason Trethaway talks to me at all is because I don't think that she trusts her own people. At least me. She pays me directly, so my loyalty's to where the credits come from. She knows
So
that.
you're on her payroll, not the entirety of Silver Break's payroll.
One and the same, pretty much, but yeah, she's the one who controls it.
But it might not be. We don't know who. We don't know where her loyalties lie at this point. Interesting.
Guess we should find out.
The gears in my head are turning. Okay. Is there anything else we need to do before we go with this guy?
I think. I don't think so.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna just I'm just gonna look at the guards. I'm gonna look at the unconscious guards and kind of look back to Galt and say, how much do you trust these guys?
They've slept it off in worse places. We should just go. They'll figure
Okay.
out their own shit.
All right.
He pushes off from the crate finally.
The one that saw Vix though, which one? Only one of them saw Vix, right? The other one was knocked
Yes.
unconscious too fast.
Yeah.
Before we go, like leave Galt and follow him out somewhere, I want to kind of lean over and kind of like place a hand on him, and I want to use erase memory so that
Okay.
he forgets Vix.
Yeah. Sounds good.
He has to make it's an intellect roll for that.
Okay. It would be a difficulty 4. Or sorry, no, difficulty 3. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm just trying to see if he has to do anything.
Probably not. 'Cause I don't
Just
think
had a that's
how
bit
Cypher
too
works.
much to drink, buddy. You don't remember
yeah.
a thing.
Yeah. It erases up to the last 5 minutes, so.
Cool. Yep. Plenty of time. Totally covers that. So. He also technically did see Mason too, so this is probably yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Although
sorry,
I don't
he saw
look like
Chance.
Mason.
He saw Chance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does my my ability to like read minds help with this? Like, because I can go in and like it's
know what?
easier for me
Yeah,
to navigate like minds and thoughts
That's
and
an-
to
that's a-
erase them.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. I like it. Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
I think that'll give you an asset on the task.
Okay, perfect. And then I'm going to. And what was the difficulty you said?
3.
Okay, 3. So then it's down to a 2. Then I have a free level of effort, and then I'm going to spend one
Perfect.
more level of effort.
Sounds good. Yeah, you go in and just with like surgical precision find the like the memories and just erase them. Yeah. You and with that Galt like pushes off from the crate. Vix just one more time just pushes him back, and Galt just sort of scowls at him. Vix says, "Sorry, couldn't help myself." And then he like finally stands up and leads you not too far away actually to like basically what appears to be some sort of like I mean, it is a delivery warehouse. And as he approaches, you can see that he goes up to like one of the drivers, and hands them a couple of credits. And the driver kind of looks at him, and he goes, "That thing I said would probably happen. Well, it happened. We're gonna need your help." And the driver looks at the group of you, and he goes, "Right. And I'm taking all of you." Galt nods.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Says, but the thing is, Galt just sort of scowls at him, and he kind of like cowers a little bit. He says, "Listen, my supervisor's cracking down on, any unauthorized transportations, things like that. Okay, like this could be my job." And Galt says, "It could be a lot more than that." He goes, right, good point. He kind of like, you can see as his like eye flicks over like Galt, who like doesn't have any of his like. Galt is somebody that he's a very practical sort. He doesn't keep his weapons like out on display, but they're visible enough, and you can see as like this driver sort of like notes all of that very quickly, and he just says, right. Nope. You know what? This. I'm sorry. I miscounted. You're absolutely right. This is plenty. And he like pockets the credits and says, "Follow me." And he walks over to the back of the delivery vehicle and like slides the door up. And he says, "I'm gonna have to load a few more things in." So, and he kind of like directs you to like a small space towards the back, or towards the front of the vehicle. And he says, "Just right in here. I'll just when I load, I'll just make sure to load around you, and if there's any inspection, you won't be seen." Yeah. Galt nods, says, "Thank you for your help." And he like climbs in, and walks over to the like designated location.
Mason hops in.
Yeah. Vix just sort of like looks at the guy and just says, he like pulls out a couple of credits and just hands them to him. He's like, "Here," and then climbs in and like.
Nice.
Yeah. With that, the driver begins loading in crates and sort of pushing them around you, so that you're sort of like hidden in the inside the vehicle. And then as he does, you see as he like brings in like what looks like a thermal tarp and puts it over the crates. That he sort of built around you, and then sort of steps back, and you can hear the sound of like the kind of the door just being slid closed. Before too long, you can feel the vibration of the vehicle as it powers up, and then lifts off. With that, we will cut back to Bina and Taeon across town. If I remember correctly, you were going. What were you looking at? You were going to go looking at something, right? Or you were looking for
away from that area.
You were looking for the hub, right?
Hub.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
that's
wanted
it.
to see if we could glean where
Okay.
that was located.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great. Well, then in that case, why don't you actually? How are you going about looking for this?
See, my original thought was like if I could find like some sort of like homing device in one of the shuttles, but you said that they don't really come down.
Right.
So
And when they do, there's usually patrol people around them. Yeah.
Are there any like? There's probably not just going to be like a terminal. I wonder like maybe. Okay, no, actually, can I find like a maintenance hatch somewhere?
Yeah, easy enough to do. They're easy to find if you know how to locate them, and you do so easily.
I just want to find a maintenance terminal.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you find a maintenance hatch not too far away. It doesn't take. It probably takes you maybe like 5 minutes or so to find one. You access it with relative ease, and
So
inside the hatch, there, like literally on the inside of the hatch, there's like a terminal on
Sick.
the. Yeah.
I'll bring everybody. We'll all get in. We'll all get in so that we can shut it and like do this quietly. I want to look. I want to see if I can get like map of Sulon power grid. Where in this area is taking a lot of power?
Cool.
That's my
Great.
plan.
Go ahead and give me a roll. This will be an intellect task, the difficulty of which will be... I think the difficulty of this one's going to be 6.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Okay. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong stuff. Mechanic?
I think that counts, because it sort of encompasses Bina's experience working...
Experience with, yeah.
Like, yeah, doing kind of maintenance stuff, which involves power systems and things like that. So, yeah.
That's 4. Do I get any sort of asset from the terminal itself?
I would say yes. You get an asset from the terminal, because this is a maintenance terminal specifically.
Okay.
So,
it knows
yeah.
what it's doing. It's for this specifically. Okay. And then... exploit advantage, I have an asset, I get another one.
Yep.
And then my edge will eat the last 2, and I'll roll in it anyways.
Perfect.
This is what Bina does. That's another 9.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you're able to sort of like go through relatively easily, bypassing any sort of like maintenance access codes or things like that. And you are able to get into the system pretty easily and start sort of scanning the power grid. While you're doing that, you're doing that, and you notice that there is sort of like on the terminal there is like a blinking light, that's just sort of like there. And
was it there the whole time?
it was basically from the moment that you access the terminal, it was there. But as you're doing this, you catch movement out of the corner of your eye, and you turn and look, and you see a caretaker, like walking kind of around the corner, sees you, and like it immediately makes to move for the terminal, and then stops very suddenly, and then just sort of stands there sort of idly. You can sort of like thrumming gently.
Hi, Sulon.
It's just like the head just sort of like turns and just sort of regards you with its multifaceted eyes.
We're here to help, hopefully. We're looking for 2 things. Where they're controlling what are they called?
The patrol craft?
The patrol crafts. And we're looking for a generator. And if you have any way to help us with that, that'd be really cool. Or if there's anything you need help with, any of you need help with right now, we would love to do that too. But we're here to help, and I know you can all hear me. So, hi. It's good to see you again.
The caretaker sort of like regards all of you. You can hear that sort of like light thrumming sort of kick up a little bit from its thorax, and there's a few like kind of clicks, and then it like you see as it turns and watches, seemingly looking at what you have on the terminal, which is sort of running through its scan of the grid. And as you are sort of looking at this, it's scanning through tons of data, tons and tons of data. Like, it's going to take a long time. And as you're doing this, the caretaker moves forward and just sort of like gently nudges you, and and then just sort of like immediately starts like going through the terminal and like inputting, like canceling what you're doing, inputting different instructions into the terminal, and then you watch
I was doing it wrong.
Like as the grid just sort of like it's not so much that you were doing it wrong, it's that you were doing a search, whereas like the caretaker might know the actual answer. And so you see as like the grid sort of like sort of clicks in and zooms in multiple times until you find it zooms in on the section actually of Sulon that you just left, the control towers.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense. And that's where they're controlling the ships?
You can see there's a moment as like the caretaker does not like respond in any obvious way, and then bizarrely, it's a very bizarre thing to see a caretaker do, because they are in no way are they humanoid and they do not have the same like mannerisms or anything like that? But like the caretaker nods at you.
This is the coolest thing ever. I fucking love these guys so bad. Okay, good. That's awesome. That's very helpful. Okay, good. Been over there before. Okay. And Venus like trying to like collect all of her thoughts very quickly. Do any of you guys need help right now? I mean, grand scheme of things, we're hoping to help, in the end game. But is there like anything immediate that? I mean, your home is under a kind of occupation, and that kind of sucks. But if there's anything that we can do to help right now, I would love to be able to do that.
The caretaker regards you for a moment and then goes back to the terminal, and you see as like the terminal like now like moves from an analysis of the power grid to just like a general like blueprint of like the maintenance access ways, and you can see as like the terminal clicks in to like one of the like maintenance access ways in like the underworks of Sulon. And you can see it just sort of clicks in on like a particular section. There's nothing significant about it that you can see, but that's where the terminal has focused.
Okay, we can meet you there or follow you there, or
there's just sort of like a general clicking and thrumming, and then the caretaker then just sort of scuttles away without another unceremoniously just sort of like leaves.
Fiona understands. She does that all the time.
It's an insectoid thing.
It is.
Sudden departures.
I get it. It's an insectoid thing. I understand.
It's called an insectoid departure. It's like an insectoid departure.
It's like the Irish goodbye, but like
like an Irish goodbye, insectoid departure.
Oh my god!
Our version.
That has to go on the list. That's the best shit we've said in a long time.
Taron like looks at the schematic and where it zoomed into. And I think we've done this before. No, now that I have the coordinates of this place, I could just traverse walls and take us there, right?
I think so, yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So once they scurry off, I'm just kind of look out after them and just go, okay, I can probably just take us there real quickly. I'll take us like into like a corner just in case there is like people around. The corners are probably less likely to be occupied.
How far of like a travel through the maintenance ways would it be? If we just ran.
If you just went there, from the nearest like access point to the maintenance ways, it'd probably take you like the better part of an hour to get there.
Okay, yeah, we can jump there. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay, just put a hand on me, and we haven't eaten since we last came here, so you probably should be good. And I'm gonna traverse worlds and take everyone with me.
Yeah, you once again fold space around you as you just take a step through and are suddenly in a much darker atmosphere, lit only by like maintenance lights, that sort of like lurid red glow that suffuses the access ways.
Venus, Orza's eyes are like black, and I have like the like ring. I think her like little ring light gets really big in the dark. She can see really well in the dark, and she just gets like, ooh.
Yeah. So as you you suddenly find yourselves in this sort of darkened access point. You step in. And step out, and like there doesn't appear to be anybody around you immediately, but you do hear the sounds of voices from not too far away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do I feel anything?
You can feel a few a few presences, like quite a few of them actually. Like not getting any specific like overarching sort of whatever, other than like I'm trying to think of how to put this. Like, stress, but not like sort of like immediate like.
Not like we're in fear.
We're not under duress.
Right
not under duress, but more like stress. Just sort of general stress.
Vina just kind of lowers her voice really quiet and says, "There's people."
Okay, we probably should like. Is there any like boxes, anything that we could like duck behind?
Right now, you're. Oh, you mean like between you and them? Because right now you're kind of like around the corner. Like you're not like immediately in view. You're like.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Nice peek.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna take like a deep breath and use do a recovery roll because
Okay, cool.
traverse knowledge is very expensive,
Yeah.
and I would
Mhm.
like to just in case everything goes wrong.
Yeah, sure. Actually, what I'm gonna say is, as you gonna take a deep breath, Solar just puts her hand on your shoulder, and you start feeling like sort of like the sound vibrations just sort of like emanating through your body.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and you like sort of feel it kind of like reinvigorating you. So like you basically go ahead and take your recovery roll, but don't spend any.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
Oh, that's
Okay.
so hard. Woo!
Yeah. I'm back up to max.
I didn't know she could do that.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
she's been training, baby.
she has been training. Yep.
Thank you for that.
She nods. Says, "Turns out there's actually, when you have enough control of sound, there's a lot of stuff you can do with it."
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing that. Okay.
So cool. Okay, I want to look around the corner.
Yeah, as you peek down the corridor, Bina, you with your kind of like enhanced vision can see perfectly down this maintenance corridor, at the end of which you can see what is very clearly a sealed blast door of some kind. The kind that you've been down in the maintenance ways a few times in Sulon. You've never seen anything like that before. It is this
Does it
sort
look
of
new, or
No.
is it I've just never encountered it?
You've just never encountered it. It's
Okay,
just
cool.
a huge sealed blast door. And actually, as you see that, you recognize that you've probably never actually been this deep in the
Oh, for
in the
sure.
maintenance works before.
Yeah.
But you do see what appears to be a group, like a contingent of Silverbreak. There's some of them are like security, but most of them appear to be like workers of some kind, with a whole variety of equipment. Much of it seems to be focused on the door.
Okay, so whatever they're doing, we don't want them doing that.
Yeah, we want that to stop.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, Bina will like duck around the corner, and she was like, "I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of hoping for like helpers, but I think,
yeah, we do.
I think we have to stop them. I think that's what they want."
Yeah. I'm gonna like
How
peek
many-
around again.
Yeah.
And to see like, can I see any powered people in power armor?
You would not. You actually don't notice anybody in power armor. There doesn't appear to be any of that. Like, there's a fair security presence, but there's not like, they whatever they're doing down here. It seems like secrecy and ease of motion was their primary goal.
Yeah.
And yeah, they don't have there aren't any like mechs, there's no turrets, there's no like security cameras, things like that. It seems like
they
this
might
is
have just been relying on the fact that this is so far out of the way that they can just
Yeah.
do what they need to do. Okay.
seems like it.
Okay. Should we handle this, or should we get the rest of the crew? And I feel like maybe at that point
This
we
is-
This
get
would be
would,
where-
this would be like when Mason's message comes in.
Yeah. Okay. They're busy.
Oh,
Great.
yep.
So are we. It's fine.
Axel,
We're busy
I-
too.
I think Axel. Are we really gonna trust?
Oh, of course not. But they can handle themselves, right? It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I guess we're alone on this one, but I do think we should stop this.
Yes. Yeah.
We're definitely
Why-
outnumbered.
Why else would they send us here? They don't. Whatever Silverbreak is doing, we don't want them to do it. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop actually whispering. I'm stage whispering.
Yeah.
Just whispering. Like, I don't want you to lose my sound on the microphone. Okay. Yeah. How many did you say there were?
I didn't. There's probably
Oh.
just after some moments of like observing them, like what just sort of just at a quick glance you can see there's a handful, but like if you observe them for long enough, you're able to kind of get a count. There's probably maybe like there's about 10 or so that you can see
Okay.
that just sort of seem to be like at least security personnel. Then there's other like
Yeah.
the other like the like workers are also there, and there's probably at least maybe like probably about as many, probably about 10 or so of them who
And they are Silverbreak workers. They're
Yes.
Not, okay.
yeah, you can see they're wearing like the like Silverbreak uniforms. They've got like the patches of like they've got the Silverbreak patches, logo patches on, and that kind of thing. Yeah.
I think what we're probably going to want to do is, if we do go in there to deal with this, I can exile a few of them at least to give us time to think of something of what to do when they return.
That's true.
You just give an idea.
I do. I think. I turn to Solar. Can you take out their communication devices?
She nods. She says, I think I should be able to. At the very least, I can try to target their. Yeah, I can try.
Okay. We'll hold that. would think we do that first once we figure out what we're gonna do, because then
Yeah.
they can't call her back up. I think we want,
Yeah.
quiet. Is that right? That's what. But yeah, we don't want anyone else
Yes,
coming.
no, definitely.
Okay. Okay. So there's that. Step 1. What's
Step
step
2, I think we should exile as many of we can deal with as many of them as possible. So I'll exile them as many of them as possible, so we don't have to fight too many. Probably can't do that for too often, just enough to split up into sizable groups.
How
And
many
then after
can-
that, we might have to
Yeah.
take them down individually.
How many can you make go away at once?
At once, honestly, just one
Oh.
at a time.
Okay.
But one at a time is better than none at a time.
That's true.
I could
What-
also possibly teleport, but as many as I can touch in one go, and probably do that as well.
Do we see any weapons on the guards?
I mean, yeah, they do have weapons.
But
They-
is it is it something I can identify as like a weapon I've seen before? Like
Sure.
is it like an energy blaster or?
They appear to be like sonic cannons. Is what they have. Like basically
Okay.
the kind that will like direct sonic pulses, like debilitating sonic pulses at people. They generally are non-lethal. Yeah.
Okay. I would like to then turn to my friends. I'm gonna grab both of them by the elbow because that's probably about how tall they're. And I'm gonna do energy protection
Mhm.
from sonic
Cool.
energy.
Sounds good.
Oh, thank you.
And so you'll get Solar's she's an NPC, it's fine. You get 10 plus.
Also, that's
You
like
get
her
10
specific power.
Yeah, exactly. She's
Yeah.
fine. She's 10 armor against damage of that type of energy for 10 minutes.
Oh, perfect. Okay. But yeah, I can teleport. I can probably get if I'm. How grouped up do they look? The security guards, like.
It's pretty
Are they-
close quarters.
Okay.
It's
I'd
pretty
probably
close
get-
quarters where they are. So like they're not like super bunched up because like there are sort of like groups there, but they're mostly in like one to three groups of like, or like 2s and 3s is mostly where the yeah.
Okay. Oh, actually, I could probably get one hand, maybe a toe. If I touch one of them with a toe, I could probably get 6 people.
Okay.
I probably have to teleport them. I'll teleport them somewhere though. If I teleport them out into Sulon, they can just manually look for a guard to alert. If I teleport them back to our ship, that's just a lot of guards on our ship that I don't think I want anyone dealing with.
So
Do we know of any like containment on Sulon? Like we were in like diplomatic quarters. Were we ever anywhere where people were being contained? Or like
no, I mean
held?
like, but there probably are places like that.
Yeah. Like,
I don't know
it
that
exists,
you.
I just don't think we've ever
No,
been there.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. In that case, I think we can just knock them out. I can take out their guns. I can just turn them to dust if I just get a hand on them.
They also probably won't be able to do too much damage when you all have like
Yeah.
like a little bit of like shimmering still like as it's fading away on
Yeah.
the outside.
you
Like
can.
that. So you can maybe put your energy into something else so you know.
Okay.
Bina, you feel Solar's mood shift slightly from
I
like
turn
a
and look
sort
at her.
from like a tense sort of, like anticipation to a more sort of thoughtful kind of yeah.
Bina, I think, stops mid sentence and looks over at her.
Yeah. She's like looking down the corridor and she like pulls back around and looks at you and says, "Oh, I was just thinking, it seems like whatever they're doing down there, it looks like they're trying to get through that door.
Mhm.
It seems like that's what all that equipment is for. In theory, all we'd need to
Steal the
do
equipment?
is deal with the equipment, but we'd still need to get them out of there somehow and make it so that they couldn't interfere."
Give me wait.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
And he backs away enough from the corner so he doesn't there's no glares or lights when he does this,
Mhm.
but he reaches in and pulls a future version of himself out and just goes, I can at the very least distract them. Well, at least that he can. I point to his other self and get them out of the room while I deal with this with you guys.
Yes, I can also
If you
just
can
walk
do-
up there. I don't know what I could do, but I can just get up there invisibly.
Okay, if we can do that as well.
But don't know what that's gonna do. I need to figure out what's.
Solar
what
just
we do.
shakes her head and says, if we knew, I mean, they can't be living down here. If we could, I mean, we don't know how long they're going to be down here or how long they've been down here. If only there was some way to, we know they've got to leave at some point, right? If there was...
Is there... There's not a terminal near here, like a maintenance
No,
terminal,
I mean,
is
there's...
there? I didn't think so.
Yeah, no. Just like, it seems like...
Okay, I have an idea, maybe, sort of. So I have an ability. I don't know if this is metagaming, but I want to spit what is to the group in just in above table. I have an
Listen,
ability
you're
called...
all competent and you've worked it together enough that crowdsourcing with the group is not, I think, unfeasible as like something your own character would have thought of. So,
okay. So this is a very weird combination. I have an ability called time travel, where you and up to 3 willing characters you choose within immediate range travel to a point that you specify. I want to have Taeon Prime travel enough to where everyone's most likely asleep and sabotage this machine then. And then, because of my Divka ability, that Taeon would disappear, and then this Taeon will reappear then. So I'll probably do the other way around. I have Taeon 2 go into the jar and sabotage it, and then he'll disappear. I mean, I will disappear, and then he will just reappear now.
I trust you. Sure, I didn't follow that, but I trust you.
That sounds sick, whatever that is.
So that's what I would like to do.
My other thought, can we fake an emergency? Gas leak alarm or something? Like, can I get into a panel and tamper with something so they think there's like...
That would honestly be great, because then it would be easier. Yeah, honestly, why not? Let's do that then.
We can try
Like,
that.
That makes sense, but Drax's idea is cooler.
So fucking funny. It is so fucking funny. I'm obsessed with that, and that we will hold on. I do want to do that at some point.
Okay.
So I think, can I find a panel anywhere that I can access down? If I have to walk a block away, that's fine too. And I want to isolate that area where it would be and set off like some sort of like evacuation. Hold on. Are there any like hatches down here, like safety, like containment breach, anything like that? Like, I know these are just maintenance ways, but are there any like doors that open and close? Can we get them down a maintenance way and lock them in?
Possibly. I'm not sure if there's like I don't think so. Because
I was like long shot, but...
specifically ordinarily yes, but because this is Sulon specifically, the maintenance ways are generally kept by the caretakers.
That's true.
And the caretakers do not need an atmosphere.
No, they're
which
good.
means that there wouldn't be any like safety containment doors or things like that, and like because it's not usually like workers other than caretakers who are down here. So if there was ever like an external breach or something like that, the caretakers would be fine.
Okay, I've changed my mind.
Okay.
I forgot about my new favorite ability.
Yeah.
Which is foul aura.
Okay.
Oh my
all
God,
right.
yes.
Okay. Concept. I foul aura on something and then like hide it. I make myself invisible and I just go stand on there. Solar gets rid of their communications, and I just like holding up a cross, be gone, like while I'm invisible, and try to make them fucking go away, and we can figure out what's going on and sabotage stuff.
I like that idea.
True.
Yeah, let's do it.
I remember how my abilities work.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna pull out, let's see, I probably have like some sort of like a wrench, some sort of tool. Foul aura, and then just put it in her pocket so that it doesn't freak out my friends. Disappear. And we didn't see any power suits, right?
No.
That was... Okay. then she'll whisper, "Will taking out their comms be loud?"
And she says, only for them.
Sick, do it whenever. And Venus is gonna just start running down the hallway.
Yeah. Yeah, Solar just sort of like peeks around the corner, and you Tan watch as like the air between her hands, as she sort of puts them like palms facing each other, just starts distorting with like contained sound waves. Like it's bizarre because it's like you're seeing sound distorting the air, but you're not hearing anything because she's containing it. And then like you can see it's doing more and more as it's like building up, and then as she like holds it, she just sort of like compresses it down, and then like looks down the corridor, and then you watch as she just releases it, and as it goes, you can see as it like sends like a wave of distortion through the air, and you watch as the guards simultaneously like reach up to their earpieces and like immediately like yank them out.
As soon as that happens, she's gonna pull out the foul aura.
Yeah, they like yank out the earpieces and just like throw them, and like there's cries of alarm from many of them, and then all of a sudden, as Bina, as you reach the door, it's like getting like the furthest in that you can, like you unveil your talisman, the wrench, and
the wretched wrench.
The wretched
Stinky
wrench. Incredible.
Stinky wrench.
Yeah.
A wretched wrench. That's so good.
And they immediately just start running. Like they just like many of them, like you can see the looks of horror on their faces as they stare at the door, but also like feeling their confusion because they're terrified.
Can I amplify it?
Interesting. Sure. Yeah, actually. Go ahead and give me a roll. Give me an intellect roll. The difficulty is gonna be I think 4.
Okay, cool. This is not a social interaction. It is otherwise though.
No, I
sensing
don't.
emotions, dispositions.
Yeah.
You said 5. Sorry.
4.
4. Okay, so that brings into 2.
Mhm.
And then my edge eats the rest.
Great.
So I'm gonna roll. I'll roll anyways.
Cool.
Fear me. I am Bina Uba. That's a 5.
I am stinky.
I just
I am
imagine
stinky.
like Bina just sort of like, I know this is not what's happening because you're invisible, but like I just imagine Bina like pulling out the wrench like a hero wielding a sword, like and it's like, and they're just fucking booking it, right? Like so
She's
like
gonna follow them for a
yeah,
little while.
you,
to keep it scary.
yeah, you watch and feel the horror that they are feeling and their confusion at their emotion, because like
She's basically like doing the feedback on
Yeah.
like a speaker, like microphone kind of a thing back at them.
yeah, and like rationally they know that there's nothing to be terrified of here, but they just have this feeling of like overwhelming dread and like an antipathy, and they just run. Like they're like scrambling, in some cases almost like scrambling over each other to like move away, and like Taeyeon and Solar would both feel like as they pass, they would both feel kind of like that wave slightly, and you like feel it a little bit, but it passes quickly enough that you're able to like sort of
You can tell that Bina's following them. You can feel the way.
holding the wrench out in front of her, like running down.
Yeah, exactly.
Solar just sort of looks at you, Taeyeon, and just sort of eyebrows go up, and she goes, "I guess."
It worked. Okay. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna head towards the machinery and the stuff that's
Yeah.
positioned around the door.
She's gonna follow them for maybe like 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Because it lasts for like 24 hours, I think. And then wherever, like, if they leave out a door,
Mhm.
I'm gonna re-put foul aura on that door.
Great,
So
yeah.
next time anyone comes back through this
Yeah.
way,
You
they'll have
find
a
like
weird...
not so much a door, but you do find a place where
Or
there is like a
something.
maintenance lift,
Yes.
that like goes to like an upper level where you're just like, okay, right here, this lift.
Beep. Exactly. Yes, that's what I want. Okay,
Cool.
and then she'll come back, so you guys get like
Yeah.
5, 10
Yeah.
minutes of stuff while she goes and does that.
So Yeah.
What exactly am I looking at? Like, what kind of stuff is around this door?
a lot of it, some of it looks like mining equipment, some of it looks like security equipment, like the kind that it's used to sort of like crack security codes, that kind of stuff. There's even a box of explosives nearby, but like that looks largely unopened. It's still sealed. Like it's
Yeah.
like this seems very clearly like they had this as like a just in case, but like and just in case we run out of ideas box, right?
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, like a lot of it looks like mining equipment that's like been set to work on the door, which appears to be extremely resilient to this stuff because you can see marks on the door where like the laser cutters and things like that and like plasma torches have been used, but seemingly to no effect, to little effect.
Well, in that case, while I still have Tion with me, I think Tion's going to go towards the crate of explosives and it's going to use traverse worlds and return them to our ship because you can't have too many explosives.
Right. This is dangerous. You can't just leave this lying around.
Yeah, what are you doing? So, yeah, Tion will take it and just teleport with this.
Sure.
And you'll see Tion kind of looks at the sponge, I'm gonna disappear in a sec. Just hold on. And he disappears.
Yeah. As you're doing that, like Solar gives him a look and is like, okay, and then just like goes around and like just using like her sonic abilities, just like dismantling equipment, just sort of like literally shaking it apart, with sonic waves, like.
And then Tion disappears, and then like 6 seconds later, Taeon reappears there. I don't like teleporting more than once. It's very tiring, so I just let time catch up instead.
Yeah, I'll take your word for it.
Okay, you've done a lot of that already. I want to go with this. And he's gonna. Oh.
No, go ahead.
Yeah?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and help dismantle some of these stuff as well, and it's gonna use dust to dust on some of these things, and just age. Or I think what he's gonna do is gonna age a lot of them so that they don't like turn to dust, but like age enough where they're just useless. Like the next time they use this against this very resilient door, it is going to break immediately.
Right, like you can see in some cases like the edges of like rust on some of the metal parts like start to like creep.
I just need one of these guys to like show up to their commander, like, what is going on? And they're like rearming themselves and they're like, maintenance way's haunted. What? Maintenance way's haunted as they climb back down but don't make it very far. Like we're haunting their workspace.
Yeah. Tan, as you're like, or Bina, when you return, you can see that the two of them are well on their way to like dismantling all this stuff. Silar, interestingly, as she has like shaken some of the stuff apart, seems to be like reshaping the metal, and like the pieces seems to be like reshaping it, and you see basically like when she's finished, one of the pieces of like of equipment actually like has been like reshaped and now almost seems to be like the sculpture of like a bird. Like one of the native birds of Anzalon.
Oh my
god!
God.
Just sort of like, yeah.
Solar, you are so smart and so good at that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
She smiles and says, "It's helped me come to terms with my powers. Actually, they're not just for destruction."
They never are.
She smiles and says, "I have to thank Mason for showing me that."
He's good at that.
And she like goes and does the same to another one of the pieces of equipment, and
I'm gonna start going through them and like opening panels and like taking out integral parts. So,
Yeah.
like, it's still fully but like there's wires connected wrong and it'll never work the same
Yeah.
again. Like
It's
that's
just
my
like,
plan.
yeah, Bina just goes in there. Ooh, this looks important. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah, easily between the three of you, you're able to like totally dismantle all of their equipment. It's Silver Break. They probably will bring more, but it will at least like delay their efforts that looked like they were already seemingly fruitless. But yeah.
Can I look at the door? The what was it? The glass door?
Yeah. Yeah. You kind of examine this door. It doesn't appear to be made out of any material that you've seen before. Its composition is very strange. Like usually when you're looking at metal, you can see kind of like the fine kind of like machining of like the metal and whatever, but this doesn't look like it has, like it almost looks like this door was shaped in a way. It's hard to describe, but basically like it's like perfectly smooth, completely flawless metal. Like looking at it, Bina, and just kind of like knocking on it a little bit, there is no resonance whatsoever when you knock on it. It just you knock and it's only the sounds of your knuckles rapping on it and no resonance on it whatsoever. Like,
Can I if she like puts her, like this is for show, but if she puts her like head next to it, can she feel anything on the other side?
No.
Okay.
No.
She just kind of, I think at one point she like knocks and she goes, Sulon? Hello? Was there more? I want to make sure we got it good. Like,
Yeah, there's no response.
No, of course not.
And at that, Solar says, "Okay, I think that's the last of it."
nice.
What do you think they're trying to get behind here?
I'm sure it has something to do with the caretakers, the conduits,
Yeah, that makes sense.
which means we absolutely need them to not
Yeah.
get here.
Doesn't look like they've had a lot of success getting through this door.
Good.
Oh,
I would leave
but-
another foul ore down here, but if the caretakers need to come down, I don't want them to not be able to get to what they need to get to. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess now we know how to get here. Well, I mean, at the very least, we know that exists, and now with that knowledge, I can get us here.
yeah, we can come
Um,
check up and make sure it's still secured. Is there anything I can do that would keep? I don't know if I have anything in my list that I could like leave behind.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Well, I think unless
is-
there's anything
yes.
less, I'm gonna cut back over briefly to Peach and Mason and Vix. You've travel for a little while inside this vehicle. You can feel it making stops every once in a while, and you can hear like the back of it opening up, the sounds of like kind of like grunting as packages are lifted and whatnot and closing. And then before too long, you hear the back open up, and you can hear the sounds of like things being moved around you, and some of the crates are moved aside, and you can see the face of the driver sort of peek in and say, "Okay, this is we're here." Galt nods and says, "Thank you," and just like walks past him. Does not look at him. Just like walks past and like jumps off, off the kind of like the back of the vehicle and looks around, and nods. Says, "All right, it's clear." And gestures for the three of you to come out. Vix steps out first, and like looks around, and then turns back and gives you like a confirming nod.
Okay, I step out.
Jump out.
You see that you're inside some sort of like garage, very similar but smaller to where Awakener kind of was birthed when you stayed in the estates. But yeah, definitely much smaller and like not as nice. So it's like clearly this is in the same location but intended for more like maintenance and like service vehicles than
This was like a back garage.
Yeah. So there's a few people in here, but they all appear to be like service workers, and pay very little attention to anything that any of you are doing. But Galt steps out. He says, "All right." He says, "The kitchens are just down that hall, and there's some the servers access to the offices. Says, we'll use that to get where we're going." Says, "There's still patrols and guards there, but not nearly as much as everywhere else. Says, we should be able to handle them, no problem." He kind of like gives you, Peach, like kind of a quick like a meaningful glance.
She just winks, and
Yeah.
I can take care of it.
Yeah. And for the sake of this, we'll say that like you managed to like meander through those hallways pretty easily, rarely encountering any resistance, as Galt said. And when you do, Peach pretty easily being able to take care of them because they're not expecting anybody coming from this direction.
Good night.
But
I could do that. I could make them run away. I could erase their memory. I have a couple.
yeah, you have
here.
you have plenty of options. But eventually, you do find yourselves outside of an office, which Galt goes ahead and like just sort of says, he says, "Wait here," and he goes up to like as you like you're kind of all out of sight. He walks up to one of the guards outside and just says, "Is the director in there?" The guard nods. He says, "Right." He says, "May I?" And he points to like the intercom panel that the guard is standing next to. He sort of moves aside, and Galt walks up to it. Says, "Director, it's Galt." You hear a voice say, "Go ahead, Galt. Make it quick. I'm busy." And Galt says, "The guests that you were anticipating, well, they've contacted me. They'd like to speak with you immediately." There's a pause, and then she says, "Captain," and the guard like turns and listens and says, "Yes, Director." Says, "You and your men are dismissed." "Director?" "You heard me, Captain." "Yes, Director." The guard nods to the others who are nearby. His second, she gives him a look that's like very clearly like full on skepticism, but he just shrugs and gestures away, and they all like make their way down the corridor. And as soon as their footsteps are have kind of faded, Galt turns back to you and just sort of gestures you over.
Well, that's how the best meetings start.
No, yeah, hopefully.
He walks up to the door. The door opens, and you are looking into what was the former chancellor's office, which you have been in before.
I know. I think we're feeling pissed off right now. At least
Yeah.
I'm feeling pissed off.
Yeah. As Galt opens the door, he steps out of the way to allow you to sort of step in, and you can see Tamsin Trethaway, a human woman, probably in her mid-30s or so. Her hair with like starting to get sort of streaks of gray in it. Her dark hair sort of bound up in a very tight, sensible bun. She is wearing a very crisp suit, with sort of like a high collar in like kind of a like an old Anzalonian style, that's sort of much more like a very like muted Anzalonian style. As she sort of sits there with her hands folded on the desk, she gives you sort of a very cold smile and says, "Welcome. Please have a seat. We have some things to discuss." Galt, he looks over. She says, make sure we're not disturbed." He kind of looks at all of you with sort of an unreadable expression and says, "All right." And he sort of you can see as he takes a position outside the door, and the door closes behind him. She leans forward and says, "I apologize for the unceremonious invitation. I can't exactly have you coming in the front door, or else I might be forced to take you into custody. Can't have you visiting me publicly."
No, of course not.
She says, "So, I'm not one for wasting time, so I'll get right to it. I need your help." And I think that's
Say
where
that
we're going to end tonight's
Okay.
episode.
Good. I was about to say, run that by me again.
Oh my god.
I knew it. As soon as he said she
Gosh.
was scared, I was like, oh, this bitch needs our help.
I know. Oof.
Whew.
Oh my lord. Okay.
I cannot wait to hear this pitch.
This is gonna be good. This is gonna be good.
Oh my god. I'm gonna give her so much shit.
This is the second time she's needed our help. Eat that. Good God.
All right. So, thank you so much, everybody, for coming and tuning in to tonight's episode. We will be back a week from today, Wednesday, with the next episode at 6 p.m. Pacific time. This Friday, we have Ramblemancy, at 7 p.m. Pacific, we'll be talking about inspiration, your tabletop RPG inspiration. That's inspiration for your characters, what you use to inspire you, who inspires you, all that kind of stuff. We're going to be talking all about that. Let's see. On Tuesday, of course, hopefully we will return to In Too Deep. There will not with between all of the like tech issues at Rule of Lore and the illnesses and general exhaustion. It has been a time, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, that seems to be a little bit the time that we're in right now. So,
I'm gonna be a guest in Den still.
that's right. Drac will be back.
After nearly TPKing the entire party, I'm now
Yeah.
part of the party.
Yes,
Mm.
good.
Amazing.
Incredible.
How the turntables.
Yeah.
That's how you make an entrance.
Mhm.
It was great. I got
It
to
was
pistol whip
amazing.
Sulon.
It
I
was
pistol whipped
amazing
their
pistol
cleric
whip.
for 81 damage and one hit knocked them out.
Incredible.
Nuts.
It was great.
Good. Good.
Wow.
It's like an 85 points of damage pistol whip or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe less, but it was a lot. It was like, what?
No, it was.
What is
I-
even?
I put Eldritch Smite and Divine Smite into the pistol whip and then critted. So I got to double it. So I rolled 16d6 and 2d4. Because it
Wow.
was a gun, so I made an improvised weapon, so I did 2d4 damage instead.
That's amazing.
Incredible. So yeah, tune in for the continuation of that saga. Yeah. As I mentioned at the beginning, a bunch of new stuff happening on Patreon. Keep your eyes out. Patrons at the World Builder tier. Make sure to go fill out the poll, or fill out the poll. Vote in the poll for like the day for our town hall style meeting where we'll be talking about like some of the behind the scenes stuff and the roadmap of Rule of Lore right now. And yeah, and if
Fill
you
out the survey.
fill out the Patreon survey, whether you are a patron or not, it's a useful thing. It helps us help you. So yeah, if you are not at the World Builder tier, this might be a good time to get on board with that so that you have voting power in terms of what day that the town hall meeting takes place. So this is a good time. The poll closes. Freeman, you said Saturday?
Saturday the 5th.
Poll closes Saturday the 5th. So yeah. And yes, as Geek Out says in the chat, even if you're not subbed to the Patreon, you can provide feedback. There is a specific question specifically catered to those who are not on our Patreon. That's all I have for tonight. So yeah, we will hopefully see you on Friday for Ramblemancy, but if not, we will see you the next time you decide to come roll with us. Good night and good zone, everybody.
Night.
I keep forgetting how to do all of it. Okay, bye.